Yo, what up, painters, gamers, hobbyists alike? We got a sub from Peepo, Comfy, and Azathoth saying, strap it into my moist maker right now. Actually, speaking of, I need to grab my apron as well. We also got a sub from Seb Hunter. Said Hunter. Am I seeing a message for that? Said doesn't, painting stream, let's go. And people says, 2 years, baby! Heck yeah, dude, 24 months! Thank you for the support for so long, people. I appreciate that. What up, Krish? What up, Jared Garrett? What up, Nurgle Matthew? Derpy Dewey? Shh, I'm watching Squidmar's video, then go watch his fucking video. Come back later, bro. We'll be here for 3 hours. Exigent Midnight.
You could just watch the video after.
Or that.
That's the video will be there.
The video's there to stay, yeah.
Yeah, we're live right now.
Tudorar. Thank you for the sub. Yeah, too fast with the camera. Yeah, I'm just jumping around. Oh yes, beautiful little emote there. Exigent says nothing. He just gives me his money and walks away. I appreciate that, you know?
You his money? He might be giving me that money.
Oh no, it's definitely for me. Nurgle Matthew gifting 2 subs. All right, here we go. Got gifts going already. Okay. How you guys doing? How was your Halloween? Did you watch any spooky movies? Let me know if you watched any, if you got any like Halloween traditions, if you watched any movies. I want to know. Can you show me? Real life is scary enough. Fair. Showgirls. Is that a movie or is that just like a general comment? We gave out full-size candy bars and Pokemon cards. Dude, you're the fucking Liddy house in the neighborhood that every kid is like omega jazz to go to like every year. There was a house back in the day in Bristol, Wisconsin, that gave out whole soda cans, and I went there every fucking year, dude. You know it. You know it. Lentz, thank you for the Prime sub. We appreciate that. How you doing today, Evan?
Pretty good.
How's your Halloween?
I mean, you saw what I did for Halloween.
Did a little hobby night?
Paint night. Can't miss paint night. Went and hung out at the Source Comics and Games. Put paint on my army that people will have to look at on Thursday. Be forced to look at.
Because
I'm playing.
Evan's playing. We're doing a face reveal of the chair himself, the almighty Evan stream producer. We're gonna play a little game at AOS of 500 points for our Escalation League this Thursday.
Oh wow, I got the chats backwards. Hang on.
What's happening? That one seems fine.
This one's you.
Oh.
I need that other one back.
Okay, all right, we're gonna have to do this then.
No, I got this.
Okay, sure.
It's easy.
The chair lurks in the shadow, controlling all.
That's right.
Someone said they watched I think it was a 1931 Dracula. You know, I'm actually super bad about like watching old vampire movies like that.
Okay, now you gotta help me with this chat.
Okay. All right, move the mouse up. All right, move it down like half as much as you just did. Down. Stop. Go over to the left. Stop. Over to the right a tiny bit. Down a tiny bit. Too much. Go up a little bit. Right there. Click and drag. To the right. Keep going. Stop. To the left. Stop. Right there.
Cool.
Watched Blade. It didn't age well, or it aged amazingly.
Hang on. I'm banning him.
Hang on. I got
Blade
this one.
Still great.
I got this one.
Blade 2? Blade 3? I'm not sure that movie actually ever happened.
Yeah, that it gets rougher as it goes, but Blade 1 is quality.
She likes to listen to music on her iPod while she's killing vampires.
Yeah. That one's rough. Started watching Cabinet of Curiosities? Is this like Dr. Calgary's Cabinet of Curiosities, or is this something else? You watched Blade 3 at the gym the other day? Never seen a Blade movie? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a you either have or you haven't situation. I don't know. Maybe it's worth it. Is it worth it for someone who has never seen Blade to go and watch Blade?
I mean, no, kinda.
Ish.
It depends on what kind of movies you like. It's definitely not an important enough film or adaptation to really be one of those, like, you have to watch this movie before you die things.
Yes, I totally agree.
And it definitely doesn't fall into that category of, like, so wildly 90s, it's insane kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's all right. Solidly a 7 out of 10 movie.
It's nostalgic. I forgot about Guillermo's horror anthology show on Netflix. I really want to watch that. It looks super cool. Just to give a little descriptor to what we're doing today, we're going to paint the rest of Halgrim. This skeleton. My favorite Halgrim channel is streaming. We're going to finish Halgrim today, his red cloak. We're going to do more testing. Kroll is so wildly 80s fantasy. Dude, Kroll is so fucking good. We're going to paint the rest of his cloak today. We're going to experiment with Army Painter speed paints again, this time painting in a more of a traditional way, with layering paints and stuff like that. Last time we did airbrushing. We also did a little bit of freehanding. So this time
we're painting with the speed paints today?
Sorry, the airbrush paints.
I was going to say, yeah, we painted with the airbrush paints last time. We're doing it again today.
Doing it again today. More of a traditional style painting. I am using my contacts. Let's pop over to that painting cam and we'll just start layering it up, talking about horror movies. Now, I don't know. These seem pretty transparent, and initially I'm like mixing paints to get like a layer, but I think I could just start with a brighter color and just leverage the inherent transparency of the paint without doing any kind of mixing. So let's try that on a couple of these little tendrils of fabric. MCU Blade got delayed another 6 months. Feels bad, man. GT_probably. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Prime sub. If you guys didn't know, you can attach your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account and sub to one channel for free per month. And we appreciate those Prime subs.
Yeah, it's fast, it's easy, and it's free money to pay our bills, which is a good thing.
We like that. I need to pay for Evan's sandwiches with your Prime subs.
Unwitches.
Rocking that keto diet. Shout out to anyone on keto diet. Would you say you prefer TMM to NMM? I think I prefer TMM when I'm trying to go a little faster. When I want to flex that painting skill a little bit, I prefer NMM. If we're just talking in a vacuum, I think I prefer NMM. I think it just looks flashier.
Chad, he just claimed that TMM is faster. Remember, he has painted Halgrim now. This is the 5th or 6th stream?
Yeah, but a lot of that wasn't even the silver.
Sure it wasn't.
Sure it wasn't. So yeah, the brand guy for Army Painter has kind of alluded to the fact that these paints, they're more than meets the eye. He was like, a lot of people are enjoying using them for normal painting. And I was like, all right, I'll take you at your word. So I'm trying them out here. I'm gonna see if they're worth anything for normal painting. Obviously, they're probably worth something for airbrushing. How many boner boys you got left for your army for the league? Well, all I'm looking forward to is 750 points. I'm not gonna think about what the 2K point list looks like because that's just gonna stress me out. But I just settled on a 750 point list on the dot that Evan is gonna fucking hate.
Well, we're not playing 750 points.
We're not. I'm just saying you're gonna hate it because it's got 2 units of Blood Knights in it. 2 units of Blood Knights, 10 Death Rattle Skeletons, Vampire Lord, all that's painted. The only thing that's not painted for that list is a 20-man unit or 2 10-man units, I haven't decided yet, of Graveguard that I'm going to convert as Vampire Infantry. So I'm not going to use the skeleton models that you see in the typical Soul Black Gravelords. I'm going to find a couple of sick infantry models from STLs, conversions, whatever it is, and use those.
Oh, that reminds me. You said STLs. You got heads for me today?
I did not print them yesterday because Amber was like she was going to go to yoga that day, but instead she's going today, and so I'm going to do it today.
My army will be headless, chat.
Do you want me to get them to you?
There's no way I'm going to paint them on Thursday.
I mean, like...
I guess if you could get them to me before tomorrow evening, I could try and paint them.
Yeah.
I'm getting my own 3D printer, chat. Sound off if you've got tips for how not to drive myself absolutely insane with the 3D printer hobby.
To be fair, Scott can make any speed painting technique take 4 to 5 times longer through the power of futzing. AKA through the power of making a model look like I gave a shit about it.
Invalid variable. Oh, that worked.
What happened?
Tried to make a new command.
Okay. There's John in the chat sounding off with his boner boy chant. I can't say that without stuttering like an idiot. Ooh, okay. This paint does not like to be agitated after it's been put down. We'll say that. It's kind of getting a little chunky monkey. I remember I was teaching a beginner class in Canada once upon a time, and one of the students asked me, they were like, how do you know when you should stop messing with paint? Perfectly valid question, to which my ridiculous answer was, when it doesn't look wet. And that kind of made me realize over a period of time that I like to mess with my paint as it's drying. And I guess maybe scale 75 like allows for that. This paint is not allowing for that too much. If I'm kind of like clawing at it a bit after I put it down, it kind of gets a little grainy. But we'll see. We'll see what happens after I apply several layers of highlights here. Sigmar just crashed. 10 reboot fantasy again. Oh, we're in that process, baby. Lord of the Print has some sweet vampire STLs. I think one evening I searched vampire on like every single 3D printing like website I knew about, like My Mini Factory, Cult of 3D, or whatever that one's called, Thingiverse, several others, and I like looked. I even just like Google image searched it, vampire STL or something like that. And I found a lot. I found a lot of good ones. I think Highland Miniatures makes a great one. It's called Vampire Neophytes. I think Last Sword makes a fantastic one. I think that's the one I'm going to go with. Until last night, I found a what's that? Arcane Guild, something A Guild. Someone help me out here. Something with an A. Artists Guild, something like that. They used to have vampires, and I did buy that pack. They are a little bit more cartoony, a little bit more WoW-like. But the ones that I found, they're called Blood Hunt models. Those ones look sick. Artisans Guild, thank you, people of the chat. Thought Hammer, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate it.
I thought it was going to be Thought Hammer instead of Thought Hammer.
Like THOT,
Yeah.
like sexy goth lady. Yeah. All right, let me just show you something that's happening right now on my palette that I haven't really experienced with paint before, of all varieties. Gas Rat, what up? Do you see how like there's little bits of like gray in there or something? I don't know what it is. It's not a consistent color, anyways. It looks like the paint is splitting, but in a unique way. I've never seen that kind of splitting before. It isn't necessarily messing with the function of the paint, but or maybe it is. Maybe I'll try to mix it up again and then I can fuck with it while it's on the model. We'll see. At the peak of my Overwatch game, people refer to me as a thought. Perfect. I mean, now everyone in stream is gonna refer to you as that, so thank you for that, Gem. Lord of the Prince is a very good October collection with Blood Knights and Vamps. Evan, can we get that on the screen?
What are we getting on the screen?
Lord of the Prince October collection that includes a Blood Knight variant, and I'm assuming other vampires. All right, let's get this focus on lock. Paint splitting has been an issue for me lately. Okay. I mean, some ranges just split. That's just kind of what they do, and you have to just work around that. It's like not a big deal to like mix paint again on the palette. Some are better than others. You know, kind of about knowing what they do.
All right, cool. It's working. Let's see here. Lord of the Prince.
Ninjon says, Lord of the Print vampires scale are fiddly as fuck. Looks zero fun to paint. All right. I will say that a lot of the vampires are kind of like that. Like, there's a lot, you know, there's a lot that goes into designing a nice model. So I'm pretty picky about vampires. What up, Adam Stevens? By the way, shout out to Tundra, taking the TI main stage by storm. No one knew how to deal with them, and they just 3-0'd the grand finals. The games leading up to the grand finals were very fucking competitive. And the final match itself was kind of just like easy mode. What up, Itronin? Ninja, I know that guy. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we know that guy.
We know that guy. He's a good guy. So
I really like My Mini Factory for what it is, but I hate trying to navigate this website.
Yeah.
Its search isn't good, and browsing the stores is awful. Trying to pull up just the Halloween stuff, and it's like cross with me about it.
One thing that I noticed about this paint, and if you're just joining us now, we are experimenting with Army Painter's airbrush paint range, which is a new addition as of, I don't know, a couple of, maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. People are saying it's good with paintbrush, so we're testing it out with paintbrush right now. One of the things I noticed last time was that it dries very glossy. Not very. It's like, it's a level of satin that's pretty similar to GW, if I'm being totally honest, which is not like an issue. But the airbrush paint itself is labeled as matte. And I mentioned that. I was like, you know, it's interesting. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna guess it has to do with the fact that you're applying it with a paintbrush and not an airbrush. Because I've experienced this before where like, the method of application changes the finish of a product, which is interesting. I kind of forgot about that, but that totally is the situation. Sick concept F tier UI. MMF search is truly dog shit. Oh, I love that.
It's really pretty rough.
This might be kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can get a shot where you can kind of see what's going on. But there's like, there is like, Sneffers, thank you for the Prime sub, we appreciate it. There is, it's kind of satin, so it's a little bit challenging to see. There is a little patch of paint that looks stronger than the rest of the area. And also it's mildly textured. Like, I don't know, like the pigment, maybe the pigment is separating from the paint and like, I don't know what's necessarily happening. But I can't, when I put the paint on, I kind of have to let it go, like leave it alone, like immediately. I can't like fuck with it a lot, which I tend to, I guess, do that a lot on all the other paint ranges that I use. Chimera, AK Interactive, Scale 75, Citadel, whatever they may be. But that's not the case so much for this paint. I'm having to leave it alone once I put it down, which again, isn't necessarily a bad thing, just something to be aware of. Yeah, you know, someone mentioned the pigment particles looking a little bit large, which, you know, we'll have to take with a grain of salt because you are watching it through a live stream, which, you know, has compression and stuff like that. But that's an interesting observation considering this is an airbrush range, right? Like, you would think that if anything, these would be smaller pigments. So it's an interesting observation. I'm curious what the situation is there. Maybe I'll ask him about that.
Making a mess with super glue all over my hands, Chad.
What are you doing?
It's a secret.
Okay. Does it involve showing me those Lord of the Print vampires?
I've got them pulled up. I was just waiting for you to stop talking about paint.
Oh, okay. Let's see it, and then we'll touch on Azathoth's question. Pups35, thank you for the sub. Oh my. All right, let's see some individuals of the...
We'll get there in a second.
Okay, cool.
I was making sure that the glue wasn't going to stick me to the mouse.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're good.
So, there's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, I just want to see the vampire infantry models.
There's a lot of stuff here. How about some totally not Blood Knights?
These guys look pretty sick. My one issue is that they could just be like bad guys. They don't necessarily scream vampires, other than we took GW's design for armor and then like turned it up to 11.
You can tell they're vampires because they have spikes on their armor.
Right, exactly.
But not like chaos spikes, like batwing spikes.
Yeah, it's like GW found like French armor from like the 17th century, and they're like, yes, this is sick. We'll just emulate this for our entire range. And now kind of everyone does that. So they look cool, but I think John's right though. These would kind of be a pain in the ass to paint.
The layered armor on that horse, on the front and the back there.
Yeah, how would that print? There's so much underhang going on.
Seems like it'd be rough unless you're printing it in multiple parts. I don't know. Also, as much as I enjoy the base of skulls, I'm kind of like, can I just get a regular base and I'll put the skulls on myself?
Yeah, it's like I'm assuming you can print them separate, so that's probably doable.
I guess it's a bonus, but
yeah.
Also, horse has belts. 3 belts on that horse's neck.
Yeah.
Right in the spot where you'd think you'd want the armor.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right in the fucking neck of the horse.
Please stab my horse right in the neck. All right.
I'm never one to complain about like realism though, so like whatever.
Fair, completely fair.
They have one knight with no helmet. Okay, that helps. That helps to sell the vampire story. Also, by the way, if you work for Lord of Print, or if you are the person that sculpted these models, just because I don't like them necessarily does not mean they're bad models. I have opinions just like everybody else, so don't take it to heart.
I want to just like see like they've got the list of the units, but it doesn't actually show them, and it's very annoying.
Exigent Midnight says maybe the horse is into that. You don't fucking know.
That's true. I mean, it might be an undead horse. They might be baiting you. I thought that the neck was what my weak point, but it was really my undead stone heart or something. Yeah, I love when I click on an image and it makes it smaller. Sweet. big fan. Yeah, this guy up front with his helmet in his hands here, I like him. He's got the spiky armor thing going on. It's got bat wings. It's a little tough to see.
Yeah, I can see it. It's kind of like the dudes on the horses, but on feet.
Yeah.
Or on foot.
But he's got a crotch cape and a real cape.
Oh, baby, let me a crotch cape. Hide that thing. No one wants to see it. Yeah, I think I like the Last Sword variety better. I think they're going to scale down to 32 mil a little bit better. And they're just more of a design that I like for painting at the very least. And then, what did Azathoth ask right when we started to do this? It was a longer highlighted message. Oh man, does that guy got drums attached to his waistline, dude? Fuck yeah, dude. This guy's gonna beat you to death with a goddamn drum mallet if you get near him. Oh, I love that. He's like cooking up something real good. Something humorous about that. I don't know what it is. Out of curiosity, would you be willing to mix 2 AP paints on your wet palette? One thing I dislike about normal AP paints is that if 2 globs of paint touch, they don't hold a gradient blend like other paints. They flow into one another somewhat rapidly. Does air paint do the same? So, do you want me to put 2 globs next to each other on the paint palette, or you want me to mix a gradient? What's your preference? I like the shield guys more. I think that also sells more of a vampire look. No one ever expects the vicious drum solo. Bongo boy, yes. 2 globs, mix the gradient, see if the gradient holds. All right, we'll do it with 2 colors that are like drastically different so we can kind of see what's going on. We're not drastically, but like different enough that.
And we're into someone else's products. All right.
Let me see what's going on.
Let's take a gander at some of these up close. This is a different thing. All right, boom. Okay.
I mean, that looks like a good video game like model, right?
Yeah. Like I would see this guy's like a bad guy in Dragon Age or something, right?
Yeah. I just feel like that wouldn't be a fun model to paint, but it looks badass in the right context, I think.
In a way, I think that this actually might be a pretty easy model to paint.
Interesting.
Because, hear me out, airbrush. I think that this is like the perfect bad guy force in that sense, where you take the easy way out and you just are like, I'm gonna airbrush these guys chrome, and then I'm going to just slap Black Templar or something all over them, and they're gonna have like bad guy black armor, and they've got a wavy line and recesses and high points on all of their stuff, and it'll sink into the chainmail. And if you're doing like a D&D army or whatever to fight against, boom, every guy is just getting that treatment because you've got basically no skin showing, no nothing.
Yeah.
A little bit of cleanup, and it's like, sweet. I had 2 weeks to prepare this for my players to then destroy my encounter in 30 seconds. And yeah, some of these poses, like this one is the sort of thing where I like go, man, this looks cool, but it's just gonna break. It's just gonna break the first time you play with it.
That does look cool. And like maybe this would be good for like a character in your army.
Yeah.
More ornate armor style. But yeah, I think it really comes down to how it prints and what it looks like. Someone said in the chat that luckily they print really nicely. So that's fantastic. Glad to hear that. Here's why you're wrong. Where's the button?
Everybody's got different taste.
Yes.
I think there's nothing like inherently wrong with these, to be clear. I'd be happy if I was like subscribed to this and I got this in a month. I could find a use for a bunch of these. Yeah. I like this banner guy. He's stoic. I love the banner design. I think that's probably my favorite thing here. Big cross with the spikes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Whole thing is just kind of
pretty cool.
Nice and bad guy-ish. Here's a close-up of the guy holding his helmet. Yeah, he's got the vampire thing going on. Spikes for days.
Spikes for days. I've been really trying to figure out a different way to do like vampire armor. And I think what it's going to come down to is like me going to like a museum or something, checking out armor, watching a cool TV show on History Channel about like armor, and just kind of like getting inspired by like what already exists and then kind of like changing it a little bit.
I definitely agree with you about the shields, by the way. These shield guys, pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. Given that you are painting a cape right now, and I'm dog shit at painting capes, do you have any advice for painting them? Also, fuck yeah, Tundra. I think capes really lend themselves to wet blending, like in a huge way. The reason why I think that is because the detail runs vertically, and so what you can do is you can put down a glob of paint on the high part of a paint, put down a glob of paint in the recess, clean your brush out, and then kind of just drag down the paint moving left and right into either gradient, and then just blend really nicely. And it's a natural direction for your brush to flow up and down, and just pulling paint constantly. So I would say use wet blending to get a nice initial blend. You don't have to do that, but it's one of the very few areas where I'm like, you know what, wet blending, it works here.
I think void blending works pretty good on capes too.
Void blending. I will say that these paints, they mix like dog shit. At least the two that I just did. I used a blue and a red, and it created a very, very, very gray purple. Very gray purple. Again, this is not necessarily a critique. It probably has a bunch of pigments in there, and they're all conflicting, so just about knowing the tool. Not necessarily a negative. You don't buy Army Painter paints necessarily to mix them.
Particularly this range where they have the triad system going.
Exactly.
I think their expectation is more just you use the colors.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I explained this last time, but The reason why I'm doing this is because they want to sponsor a video, but they always want to do a sponsorship where I talk about their paint, and I always tell them that I can't like do that without experimenting with it to see if it's like worth it.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Exactly. You know, I have a much easier time doing that with models because like models are kind of just like, sure, you could like that. You could like Lord of Print. Like there's nothing inherently wrong with it. It just isn't for me personally. But I have a less of a hard time morally advertising that than I do a paint range that I don't like, because there is some quantification to that. And so they were like, okay, I will send you the paint range. You can experiment with it, and then if there's something special about it, then let's do a sponsorship. And I mean, it ain't looking good. I hate it when my tools fight me, and I feel like I'm being fought right now. With it's just kind of grainy. I don't know what's going on with the graininess, but that's enough. Like if this wasn't a live stream and I wasn't trying to just kind of like really give this paint a go, if this happened, I would write this off immediately. I'd be like, nope, my paints don't do this. I'm not gonna fight it. Next, but we're gonna keep trying.
It's also one of those things that comes with experience too, because someone who just bought this paint range and nothing else wouldn't know any better.
Yep.
Right? You don't know what you don't know.
Yes. Thank you, President Bush. What was that classic quote he had? There are knowns, and there are unknown knowns, like or something like that. I forget what it was. Any advice for painting bone? You're painting some Arthurian vampires. Oh my God, you just gave me the most gigantic boner ever. Arthurian vampires. This made me like, Mom, you want me on dust? I love the video game reference. I'm on the fence about getting the whole scale 75 range. I think I would kind of always advise against buying the entire range of anything.
Strong disagree.
All right, let's have a little debate.
I'll let you finish your point before I tell you why you're wrong.
Okay. So 6 years ago, in March, it'll be 7, I bought that entire scale 75 range. And I have used, at least one time, maybe 60% of the range, maybe 70. And I use frequently 10% of the range. So that was a waste, 100%, buying that whole range. So I think the advice that's cheaper, not because it's bundled down, but because you just will end up using less paint, is to buy what you need.
Okay.
But that's me. Maybe Evan's more of an experimenter.
I have two counterpoints to this.
Okay.
Number one, we have the luxury of having somewhere local you can go to get something if you need a spot, right? You have your 10, 15 paints that you've been using and you go, you know what? I really want to pick up a black green for an idea I have. And you just drive over to the source or scale model supply or Tower Games or whatever, and you buy the paint. If you live in an area where you don't have that, it's, I really want this. I really want to do this. Oh, I'm going to order it and wait a day, 2 days, a week. Kills motivation. Having things on hand is good. And the second reason I disagree is sometimes you get so much better of a deal by just buying a big pack from a range that is super worth doing. And having those things on hand does encourage you to use things outside of your comfort zone.
Fair.
I mean, my hobby pack that I've lugged in here and I lug to the source every week and so on contains pretty much every paint that I own. And what that consists of is basically everything by Procryl and then a chunk of GW and Vallejo to kind of fill the gaps, and some AK texture paints and enamel stuff and some oils and so on. And having all that stuff on hand means that I can change my mind and put hot pink in a place that it wasn't before and things like that.
There you go. 2 perfectly valid opinions. Now you get to pick one.
Pick me, chat. I need validation. Speaking of validation, Wait, no, that's not right. You got some green stuff or milliput I can borrow for a minute here?
Yeah. Do you prefer one or the other?
Let's do green stuff.
Okay. Can I find something that's not stuck to something? Ooh.
Truly the curse. Oh yeah, let's do a poll. Why not? Because everything's a fight.
This is every moment in life is an opportunity to be right or wrong. Okay, I'm gonna give you milliput. Actually, I'm gonna give you both, and you can decide.
Milliput's fine.
It looks like my green stuff is just like absolutely chaos. There's a bunch of shit in it.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You decided to mix paper into it?
I guess. I'm really interested in the Chimera single pigment range. I'm gonna make my own colors for a model because I'm not quite finding what is in my head. Have you used them? What are your thoughts? I have used them. They're great. They're great for exactly what you just said. They're great for painting display models for that exact reason as well. Yeah. They're kind of getting away from their mission statement of being one pigment paints, and instead just making a fuckload of paints. They introduce like an artist's collection of paints, which are no longer a single pigment. But that first set of paints, I could not recommend that more, honestly. It's really great. Maybe not as like a daily driver paint range if like you're a typical hobbyist who like paints like armies and stuff, but like, I don't know, if you're a display painter, if you're looking to dabble, 100% recommend it. As like a supporting paint range, if I can say that. Okay.
Damn. It's time to buy you another thing of milliput.
Yep, just about finished with that one.
In fact,
is it done?
There's only. Am I? Oh no, it's in here. Okay, never mind. We're fine.
Oh, was there like just one half of it?
I thought for a second, but the other one was like stuffed down in there.
Oh, okay.
Who will win, chair or hair?
I mean, that's kind of funny for other reasons as well.
What are you trying to say, Scott? You don't like my hair?
Yeah, I hate your hair. Wargang88, thank you for the subscription. I voted for Scott only because my first buy a big set experience was Army Painter, and I think that maybe because a lot of people's first choice because of the pricing, and so many of those paints are dog balls.
Well, what you should have done is you should have gone on the Miniac YouTube channel and watched the first YouTube video of the miniature painting variety featuring our good friend John, Ninjon, where he goes over a variety of starter type sets and tells you to buy the Vallejo box, not Army Painter.
Yeah, what the heck, Mike?
Should have done it.
What's wrong with you?
Yep. You know, they say the customer's always right, except when they make a mistake like that.
Man. This is a wretched experience. As far as painting how I normally paint goes. Sorry.
It's funny, last week you didn't have a lot of complaints.
Yeah, I was mostly like for like recess shading, edge highlighting, like things like that don't require like blending.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have never noticed this. And again, these are an airbrush paint, so I'm not necessarily using them how they're supposed to be used. I'm just doing that because someone told me, like, hey, people are doing this, try it out. I know who to vote. My purchasing habits are Evan. My experience tells me Scott is hypothetically correct. Hypothetically, yes.
I definitely don't think that you should stick to just one brand all the time for all purposes or anything like that.
Oh, absolutely not, yeah.
You know, like I said, I've got more than just my beloved Pro Acryl in my box.
Excellent.
And I have bitched many a times on this channel about my struggles with Pro Acryl Primer. So I love some things that they make. I like the paint range. I like the scraper tool. I like their brushes. I'll never buy the primer again until they change it.
Mr. Zay and Der Boise Wolf, Der Bose Wolf, thank you for the Prime subs, both of you. Appreciate it. You all see Iron Painter's response to everyone dogging their line. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more ingenious it is. You know, like,
it's the Coca-Cola Classic thing, Scott.
What does that mean?
You know, like it's a new Coke. Army Painter is the new paint line, and then they're gonna, oh well, we realized that we should be doing what everyone else has done the whole time.
Yes, there's that, but also attaching a bunch of social media people that those are people that are familiar with to this rebranding gives it legitimacy. Okay, not saying that they aren't legit and that the work the content creators are doing isn't legit either. I'm just saying like that's a double whammy, right? You get the advice from, say, Hobbyists Plus, like they have more experience with paints and stuff, and you also get to attach their name to the product. I made a video a long time ago about Roman Lapat, and basically the synopsis of that video was that YouTubers don't know a lot more than you do. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. If they're good painters, then maybe they might know what they're talking about and stuff like that. But like, just because they have a YouTube channel and just because they have 100K subs does not mean that they're necessarily more knowledgeable than, say, Roman Lapat or Alfonso Heraldez or people who are like subject matter experts, right? Like, I'm learning this hobby just like you are, and maybe I'm further along in my journey, maybe I'm a pro, like whatever you want to say. We do attach this feeling of like professionalism or like know-how to YouTubers when we don't necessarily deserve it.
Success is obviously a direct representation of knowledge, experience, rightitude, correctness.
I love these terms.
But yeah, I mean, like, oh yeah, you won the poll, by the way, which means that I must destroy you.
Hey.
It's all right. Obviously, the vote was rigged from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to compete with Miniac on Miniac's stream.
Yep.
I've now noticed this. Either I'm right all the time and my speed painting is always better than John's, or I have an unfair advantage.
Yeah, maybe.
Vince in the chat. Whoa, speak for yourself on who's an expert.
Well, obviously, actually, that's a great point. Vince is one of the most correct people consistently that I know.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's got, what, 1/4 the subscribers of your channel? Go get subscribed to Vince's channel, by the way.
There you go.
Hobby cheating videos are some of the most helpful educational content for miniature painting out there. Because it's just the facts. We're big fans of Vince's here. We like when Vince comes to town. We like to talk about Vince. Vince, I hope you're feeling well today.
Me too. Vince is having a little bit of a issue recently in the health department. Nothing huge, just experiencing some pain. Hope you're doing okay, man. But yeah, I mean, just because I have more subs than Vince just really means that I know how to play the rat race better than Vince does. That's
well, and I mean, like,
that's all it means.
We say it, it's true. Vince's videos don't have a lot of production value as far as pizzazz. And that's fine, because that's not what he does. He just makes a video that tells you how to do a thing.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect guide for that. And that's it.
Yeah.
Scott likes skits. Scott likes complicated lighting setups and experimenting with new video gear and all that kind of stuff.
Matte boxes. Basically, baseball brims for cameras that angers Vince so much.
But the point is the sub count, how well known you are, does not necessarily mean that you are more knowledgeable or more able to teach. That's actually, I think, the bigger one. Is you'll see successful people unable to actually articulate what makes their stuff good.
Yeah, that is another thing that's really important. And there are even professional painters who are just not cut out for making YouTube videos because they're not great at explaining what's going on. It's like Gordon Ramsay trying to describe to you why what he's doing scientifically works, and him just totally destroying the reasoning, saying things that are just flat out not true.
Right.
It's more of a feeling than it is like a known fact, and so it's hard to translate those two sometimes. Making Scott sound like mini painting is his last priority. I think maybe it's just placing more of an emphasis on the other elements. Not that it's less than the mini painting element. But yeah, all this to say that I think Army Painter is doing something very clever, attaching personalities to their new product relaunch that people are familiar with, which gives more attention to it, and which is good. If it actually is different and it actually is better, this is a very smart thing. If it's not, then it's a cash grab and it's feels bad. But we have to we will wait to see what the situation is, because we have just now gotten into this process where they are receiving help from Coopertown, Ninja, Dana Howe, a couple others about what is a good paint range and stuff like that.
There's also some piece of this that just comes down to personal preference.
Sure, absolutely.
I know I have encountered people who swear by Army Painter paints.
Really?
Way some people, yes. Shockingly. where you go, here, try this, and hand them a bottle of, say, Vallejo. Nothing crazy, just,
good old
looking
tank
for
round.
a color, here, borrow this, and they go, oh, I don't like that how this goes on the painting. I don't like how this is diluting, things like that. And John, I have also encountered people that swear.
That's what I thought he was gonna say. I was like, okay, like you mean like me? Goobertown is an interesting person to also include, because not only is he a personality everyone's familiar with, but also he is literally a chemist. So that's kind of like a wombo combo right there for Army Painter to include him, because he's got some material sciences background that's helpful to the paint production process, while also being a hobbyist who would be a customer of Army Painter.
Yeah, Brent isn't just soft-spoken. He's also wicked smart.
Wicked smart. But yeah, just some thoughts to juggle while you are browsing the internet.
Don't juggle too many thoughts, though. Eventually, that'll catch up with you.
Yes, very true.
This is what I was doing, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
So
That's your force?
Yeah. It's
Nice.
the whole force.
Hey.
All 8 guys plus my leader chick. Still have
Nice.
to paint her face. That'll happen tomorrow night.
You can paint those eyes?
Yeah, I told you I'd paint the eyes on any heads in my army.
He's an eye guy now.
No,
Chad.
I'm not.
Chad, we
because
converted him.
I also expressly am not putting any other heads with eyes in my entire force.
Chad, we did it.
I even took the head off of the angel lady and replaced it with a helmet, so you don't have to deal with the eyes.
How long have we not been on the painting cam, Evan? Why do you hate the painting cam?
Oh yeah, we can be on the painting cam. That's fine.
Yeah, I think I'm learning how to paint with this paint the way it wants to work, and it's very thin layers because when you put the paint down, you can't really fuck with it anymore, and so you want it to be thin because you don't want to make a mistake and then have to mess with it. And so I am just putting a thin layer down, kind of pushing it toward the highlight, kind of like if my highlight's building right there, I'll push it toward that area to kind of like create a little bit of a blend toward that edge. See what I'm doing right there? And if I make a mistake, then I can come back with another thin layer of the previous coat to kind of like adjust. This carmine red.
John says, I wonder if I had less issues with the AP air range because I thinned it with magic mix to extend the drying time.
I'll try that. I don't have magic mix. I have flow medium from Yosonia. Smooth base coating and line work.
Smooth.
Mix small amounts.
Hang on, let's read the instructions, chat.
Use as a painting medium for smooth and controlled brush strokes, for detailed line work, to thin colors for airbrushing. Okay, not necessarily what John's is, I think. Day 97, he's still painting skeletons.
Not just skeletons. This one skeleton.
Wait, so John, are you saying that you aren't experiencing the problems that I was having right now, where like it's kind of like it seems like it's drying fast and I'm getting a texture on the model? Like you can kind of see like right here how kind of like spotty that coverage is. I will try. I'm gonna put some flow medium. I'm gonna mix it all in this red paint. Just kind of get it nicely distributed, and then we'll try again. The air paint is the best white paint I've used in a while. Okay. Good white paint. I assume that red is very matte. None of the paints are matte when applied with a paintbrush. They are all pretty glossy. Or let's call them satin. They're not glossy. Like apple barrel paint's glossy. And we experienced that last week too while doing the freehand on the banner. And then I brought it up with Army Painter, and they're like, yeah, it's probably because you're playing it with a brush, not an airbrush. But they are marketed as a matte range. The result I'm getting is not bad. It's worth saying that.
John also says, I painted the whole model with a tiny ass brush and did thin layering and stippling. I did not do large strokes over a bigger surface. That might also be an issue in performance that I just didn't deal with.
Yeah, that's fair. That is totally fair. But obviously still worth trying out, the medium and seeing what we're getting here. Kind of fucking up right now. It is hot in here.
Yeah, Rocketman props, that is definitely a thing to combat the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments that you will get if you don't say.
Chat. I watched Sleepy Hollow last night for the first time ever. It was a fucking great movie. It kind of got me thinking about fantasy, because that movie is 18th, 19th century America horror fantasy. Whenever you talk about fantasy, you think of like knights in shining armor, you think of like 14th to 16th century history, but like, with elves and dwarves and shit. What does a dwarf look like in the 19th century? Or an elf? Cryo Panda, thank you for the sub. Shout out to my lawyer, okay? Shout out to Cryo Panda's lawyer. Thursday morning, Microdon, I think it's Prime sub as well. 2 months. Both of you 2 months, nice. But yeah, like what does an elf look like in the 19th century fantasy? Like why is fantasy not in that time period more often? What would that even look like? So I went a little crazy figuring out what a couple
Rusty
characters look like. What is this?
says Sleepy Hollow is the main reason I am still, as a grown-ass man, terrified of Christopher Walken.
I will say that of all the people you could have cast for a Hessian, lineless mercenary in your as a monster in your movie, I feel like Walken is the last person I would have thought of. He looks scary, but I feel like there's just like way more intimidating dudes, just because their background in film isn't just so specific and so colored. I haven't seen 13 Ghosts. Carnival Row tried a fantasy in that time period. Carnival Row. Is that a movie, show, game? Any painting goals I'm trying to finish? Before the end of the year? Just try not to die. That's my goal.
He has to paint like half an Age of Sigmar army.
Oh, I'm totally fine doing that. I'm basically already there.
Cheater.
Yep. You better believe it.
Should have made you paint the ogres. Could have baited you into it.
You absolutely could have. You held the power in your hand and you were like, be responsible, Scott.
Yeah.
And now you're angry about it.
See, the thing is I'm just thinking about the product when I do that.
As opposed to what? Making me suffer or something? Like...
That's what I'm saying. So if I made you suffer, it would be a worse product. But I would I'd get to needle you.
Okay. That's the benefit.
You can't keep up. I'm painting all my units. Why aren't you painting yours? You're a pro mini painter, and I'm just a chair.
Oh God, I'm just a chair. That was great. Scott, I really need to expand your fantasy references. My dog, Mask of the Red Death in Ravenloft, was doing this quite a while back. Maybe if we get playing some RPGs, Winky Face. You're never gonna get me to play your filthy D&D, Vince. I need physical models, and I need the rules to be very specific. No, I don't know.
D&D has physical models. What are you talking about?
According to Vince, it doesn't.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily, but you absolutely can play it with only physical models.
I know. I don't know what it is about D&D. I don't know if it's just like I am shameful about like role playing and like I don't want to have to do that. It feels like a stressful thing. And I feel like that's like a huge part of D&D. It's like if you don't enjoy that, then like why don't you just play a miniature war game, which is like more of a streamlined version of a role playing experience?
So this is, I think, the fundamental disconnect.
Okay.
The battling in a role-playing game is not necessarily the most important part. Certainly D&D's rules. It's a miniature war game with some other stuff slapped onto it. But there are role-playing games that don't involve combat at all, that are not war game adjacent. Many of them.
Yeah, but I kind of want that. Like I love the fighting element.
And I'm not saying that necessarily speaks to you, but when you're focused on that wargaming element, you're missing the other piece of it.
Okay, I got you.
Which I would argue is what makes it a war game a role-playing game rather than a war game, is that other piece.
Okay.
Because you absolutely can just get friends together and scrim in D&D. You're a 5th level wizard. You're a 7th level bard. I've got these forces. Let's go toe to toe.
Yeah.
No story, no nothing. It's just these are the forces of play.
Yeah.
You can do that. But that's not a role-playing game at that point. That's just a skirmish game.
Yes. And I guess that's what I want in a game. I mean, whenever I play video games, I always kind of jokingly say, but also kind of seriously say, like, if there's no murder, I don't give a fuck. I want to kill something. So I don't know.
Well, here's my question. So when you play a video game where the character is predefined for you, right? It's not just a blank slate. You're playing something like a Mass Effect, a Witcher, a Hades, Last of Us, any of those kinds of games.
Mm-hmm.
When you come upon choices in the game, do you just do what feels natural for you, or do you think about what the character in the game would do and try and do that?
It depends how obvious the choice is narrative. Because like in Hades, they'll be like, do you want to upgrade 4 boons, 1 level, 2 boons, 1 rarity, and another option that's clearly a game option? And say, okay, in this paradigm, I'm going to pick the thing that makes the most sense for me gameplay wise.
Right. I think actually let's leave Hades out of this because that is a game that's story elements are more oriented just around you completing the game over and over, and the story kind of unfolds in front of you. Okay. You can prioritize helping out people in that game where, you know, it's like, oh, I want to reunite these 2 characters or whatever, so I'm going to try and get the things I need for that. But no, I think let's narrow this more to something like a Red Dead Redemption, a Witcher, something like that. You're playing a named character, right? It is not necessarily Fallout where or Skyrim or something where you're just creating a blank slate that is, you know, I want to create this character in this world and I will make the choices. Yeah. Instead, you're playing a named character that has like themes and stuff ascribed to it, or Assassin's Creed, any of that kind of stuff. Yeah. It is a character in the world and you have to pilot it. Do you prioritize what you personally think is coolest or what you think the character would do in that situation?
I think I like to prioritize what the character would do.
Congrats, you're role-playing.
Yeah, I know.
That's what role-playing is. It's not doing the voice. It's not any of the other stuff. It is straight up, what would this person do instead of what would I do? If you're doing that at the table, and that's all that role-playing is you're coming to the conclusions based off of the character that you've written up to that point. You know, you obviously have more agency over this than, you know, just picking up the reins of a book or a character from a book or whatever. But if you are making decisions on the basis of, you know, what would Halgrim do if he had these choices in front of him, as opposed to what does Scott think would be funniest, then you're role playing. That's it. You're there. It's fun.
Okay. I mean, I might say that is not the part that I care about in a video game when it comes to enjoyment. So it's like I'm not like looking to make like experience for myself that's more of that.
Well, sure. I mean, like, and to be clear, obviously those things are not the most important part of why someone plays something like The Witcher, right?
Right.
You play it for the gameplay loops and the story beats that aren't necessarily under your control. My point is that piece of it is what makes it a role-playing game, rather than just a skirmish game with a story, right? Because you could very well, you know, like, well, we're going to play Age of Sigmar in a day and a half, and we could ascribe a story to it.
And right? I like that. I enjoy doing that.
And I have no problem with that. But that's not really a role-playing game. It's just kind of like, these are the forces that are clashing. There is no choice. What would my commander do in this situation, right? That's not something that a wargamer is generally thinking. They're thinking, how do I win this game, right? The role-playing choice would be like, well, what this commander would do, even though it's the suboptimal choice, she would charge in because she just saw her best friend die on the field.
Yeah.
Right? That's the role-playing choice. Whereas with the wargamer choice goes, yeah, but if I stay on this objective, I win the game. And who cares what the name of this character is? That's what they're going to do because I need my points.
Yeah. I think that is totally fair.
Age of Sigmar has an RPG. What the hell is Age of Sigmar?
There's definitely a Warhammer Fantasy Battle. What's the term? RPG setting you can use. I thought this gemstone was like a transparent, glossy red, like an ink. It is not. It is metallic.
It definitely says Air Metallics right on it.
It does. When I looked at it, I don't know where it is. I thought it was an ink.
Yeah, and their hex grid on the side of the box.
Yeah. So what I was gonna do was I painted this like salmon pink color in some kind of extreme highlight areas. I was gonna hit it with that ink and kind of bring it back into red world, but I'll just do that with the brightest red this range has, which is whatever the fuck it is. Something, this one, pure red.
This is my new favorite Nightbot command, even better than the Dan one.
Sigmar blesses you. Here are his words for you this day. Child of the ordered world, when you win big and you win more, they're gonna sue you. Just counter sue them though, don't back down. What the fuck is that? Is that a reference or something like that? It must be.
So, for some reason, they have DJ Khaled as a variable you can put in here on Nightbot, and it gives you DJ Khaled isms.
Oh my god.
And so now those are the words of Blessed Sigmar.
Oh, okay. Just countersue them.
Couch Frog, there are 6 players in the Escalation League. 2 are playing Cities of Sigmar. Both of them are playing like the Wizard sub-faction that I can't remember the name of. There is Scott's Force, which is obviously his vampires, his Soulblight Gravelords. Curtis is playing Daughters of Cain. John, who was on stream playing a couple weeks ago, is playing the Nurgle Boys, and I am playing the Blessed Chosen by Sigmar. The Stormcast Eternal is the best faction in the game, and everyone's favorite, for sure, 100%.
He's like playing them ironically, because like if you could choose, you'd play dwarves, but you're like, this was the cheapest.
It was the cheapest, and then I bought 6,500 points worth. I don't know how it happened, Scott.
It happened so fast.
It really did. Yeah, if I could play any faction, I'd play the dwarves for sure. Nothing but dwarves.
Which dwarves though? Steampunk dwarves or bare-chested dwarves?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Or Cities of Sigmar?
Yeah, it would be cities, and it would probably be the not bare-chested dwarves, not the Fire Slayers.
So like standard dwarves. You're doing Cities of Sigmar, they're kind of like the typical dwarves.
Yeah, the problem I have with the dwarves in Sigmar is that they kind of have a gap. Because the standard dwarves are a little bit more what I would call gnome-like. They have the steampunk thing going. And I'm not a huge fan of the steampunk thing with the blimps.
I think we are miscommunicating. There are 2 bespoke dwarf factions, Fire Slayers and the steampunk Zeppelin air guys.
Yeah.
And there's a third one.
Oh, you can play just dwarves and cities. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
You're right.
Yeah, which I hate that. I would hate to play a generic force that's like kind of flavored. But yeah, what do you prefer?
I mean, the generic dwarves are my favorite of the 3. However,
okay.
I think they all have fundamental issues.
Gotcha. Okay. What are you looking for in the dwarf faction?
Just the things that remind me of Deep Rock the Galactic. I want a dwarf faction that actually is oriented more around like being like Stormcast. Smaller unit sizes, really, really ridiculously heroic and sturdy dwarves. Because it seems like, from what I've looked at, most of the dwarves in Age of Sigmar are more chaff-based. Like, it's just large forces of dudes. Yeah, I want my dwarves to be bricked up.
Bricked up? What are you the kind of person that's okay with the idea of using dwarf models in Stormcast rules?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't have any problem doing that, but I am also a person that thinks about, if I'm getting into this game, I want it to be transportable outside my group. And I know that GW games are among the most notorious for, I'm sorry, I'm confused. That's not the right model for that. Did you 3D print that? You can't use that.
I hope that's not what people are going to say to me when I play them outside of this group.
Yeah, the same.
And I am 3D printing some Graveguard. We'll see. We'll see what people say. The back of this cloak looks really nice and impressive. The front, not so much, which makes sense because there is not a lot of the cloak showing on the front viewing angle of the model. But I'll just add some brighter red edge highlights to some of these tassels to kind of punch it up a bit.
My favorite dwarves that GW makes, by the way, is the Blood Bowl team that I bought. I really like the aesthetic of those. If they had a whole faction of Sigmar dwarves that looked like that,
yeah,
that'd be the ticket. Cool, like runic armor, really fun dynamic poses, and lots of skulls too. Yeah, just cut off all my Stormcast's legs below the knee. Boom, dwarves. Did it. They have really long arms. That's their long arm dwarves, got it.
Okay, cloak done. Looks fine. Looks fine, a little grainy, a little chunky. Whatever. It's not amazing, it's not terrible. All right, on to using other paints to finish this model.
Jim Creminis has a question for you that's worth answering, I think.
Yes, sir.
He says, as I click on it to make it show at the same time, how do you deal with a hard-to-reach front of the cloak I'm dying. That sits behind the model? Do you paint in subassembly, or do you really even care? Or realize that it's far less tended to?
I mean, here's the important viewing angle of this model. Right here. Do you notice the cloak being unpainted back here? Because it isn't. I base coated it with an umber red. I like stabbed my paint in there as far as I could go without acing my paint job a ton. And now that we're looking at it, like, I don't know. Do you care about that part? Once I paint this stick, I think it'll care even less. I don't know. I don't personally care about it, so I just base coat it and I just don't worry about it. If I'm painting something for competition, then the story's different. I would do a subassembly, but that's like 1% of everything I paint. So yeah, keep them together. Don't worry too much about those areas that are hard to reach. No one's gonna care about them. Especially if the rest of the model looks this fucking banging. Woo!
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! All right, anyways, on to painting a stick. I'm gonna keep some of that black from the primer in between his hands and his fingers, just to not have to worry about like doing some kind of shading. Just leverage that black. Utgar, thanks for the Prime sub. 3 months.
Also had a question.
Ooh.
Which isn't... Oh, right, because it's part of the... I can't highlight it. Silly Chad highlight. He asks, or she, do you have any tips for painting a smooth surface to look like a coarse fabric like burlap? My answer is cross-hatching.
Yeah. Some kind of cross-hatching, some kind of stippling. The thing is, like burlap, when it's scaled down 30 times, 20 times, does it look like cross-hatching? Hard to know, really. But then again, miniature painting is all about exaggerating reality, so you could do cross-hatching.
Miniature painting is all just about lying.
Pretty much.
You're lying to your brain.
Yes. Like, it wouldn't be this large in real life, but it doesn't matter.
I believe it, Huddleston.
What'd you say?
He says, Darren Latham has a pretty good tutorial on rough textured cloth.
Nice.
There's lots of good tutorials out there by lots of different people.
I have a video called Color is for Chumps that's all about texture and finish and what you can do with it in terms of conveying materials. I would check that out regarding this question as well. I'll paint the belts.
My mother has been updating me, chat. She captured a feral cat up at the cabin.
Whoa.
Because she loves cats. And she is at the vet right now, getting it vaccinated and so on, trying to figure out what's the plan for this cat as winter approaches.
Okay.
It's a cute black cat. I'm going to post a picture in the Discord.
If
you want to get into the Discord to see this picture of Black Cat, you should get subscribed or become a patron.
Dude, nice.
Yeah, you didn't know where I was going with that, did you?
Entrapping people with pictures of cute black cats.
That's right.
No one can say no to that. That's cool. Does your mom have like a ton of cats?
She has 2.
Oh, okay.
My aunt, however, who passed away years and years ago, she had 30 cats in her house for 30 years.
No.
And guess who lives in that house now?
You?
Damn right.
You know, you don't smell bad.
I don't have 30 cats, Scott.
Yeah, but that house, I gotta imagine, smells bad.
Nah, we fixed that problem.
Oh, okay.
So my aunt suddenly passed away about, I don't know, a decade ago, and I inherited the house. And the house was not monetarily free, but very cheap. But I spent a year solidly working on that house full time to make it not smell like it had 30 cats in it.
Okay. Replacing drywall and like carpet and furniture and stuff like that?
Drywall didn't have to be replaced. The paint was good enough for that. Flooring had to be redone in some areas and refinished in others. And yeah, the ceilings had to be redone. And the basement, I ripped up pretty much everything out of the basement. Yeah, it was work. It was work.
Sounds like work. Oh, I forgot one of the paint, the belts.
Force strength, force stam?
Yeah, this is absolutely a 4 strength, 4 stam leather belt. I actually think this is a little bit too bright. Got a black, we'll do a blue,
I opened the Discord on my phone, and what's the most recent message? Where is the cat?
Show me the cat.
I want the cat.
All right, let's try this brown color instead. This is significantly more blue, but this will be our max shadow color, and then I'll start to layer some blue on top of that. I said blue.
Utgar has resubscribed with Prime for 3 months.
Hey, thanks, Utgar.
Oh, actually, that's the one from before. I just didn't mark it off.
It's okay. We appreciate you twice as much, Utgar.
That's right.
It actually looks a little green. There must be some yellow in that brown color I just mixed with deep blue from scale 75, which is fun. Let's roll with it. It'll be a max shadow, so it won't like be super visually distinctive when I finish highlighting it, but it'll be cool. Anything on the backside? Not really. I'm gonna shade his spear staff a little bit down toward the bottom with some of this greeny blue color. I used to fret about sticks, you know? I used to fret about every part of the model, honestly. That's kind of just the way I was taught to paint miniatures, that every single detail you paint needs to be especially considered. And I used to fret a lot about sticks. I was like, how do you hide a goddamn stick? The answer is you don't. You just kind of slap some paint on it in a haphazard way and you're good to go. It looks good. Nice stick, thanks.
Couch Rug, I will be at Renegade. I don't know if Scott will.
I will not. We had a guest on the podcast, or sorry, not on the podcast, on a gaming stream playing Batman with us, who will be there.
Mm-hmm.
Stefan.
Yep, he's running Batman.
Running Batman.
Or helping run Batman? I can't remember. Point is, there is Batman at Renegade.
There is.
He will be there involved in the Batman. I will be there playing song.
Some kind of tournament?
Yeah.
Nice. What are you playing?
I haven't decided.
Is it a 3-round thing?
It's a 1-day 3 or 4 game tournament on Saturday, and then there's a 2v2 tournament on Sunday. And I want to play in the 2v2, but I haven't found a partner yet.
Oh, okay.
I don't need to try out Stone Thrower. I've retired Stone Thrower. It's too good.
It's still too good?
It's OP, man.
I mean, I'm 2-0 against this, so...
Not against mine.
I know. I want to play you. I want to try it out.
Well, maybe once the Escalation League is over, since that's all we're going to be playing for the next 7 years. I believe everything Batman is COcast these days.
Not me having a chem exam tomorrow morning and procrastinating by painting my blade guard.
You say that, but Renegade's still a week away. No, 2 weeks away. Weekend of the 15th.
Wait, is he saying that's an excuse to not be at Renegade?
I think so.
No excuses.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Batman miniature game.
It's not a very nice.
Yeah, Dan has a good point. Dan in the chat. Scott, don't you have like a million other skeletons to paint?
I actually don't.
Yeah, because you haven't even built them yet.
No, I have. They're over here next to me, and they're all magnetized and ready to get painted. But my 750 point list, now that I'm done futzing with it, actually only has 10 skellies in it, so I'm good. Future lists will definitely have more skeletons in it because they're just great objective holding chaff units. But what I do have, I guess, dude, Dan is right. I do have other skeletons to paint. They're just fancier skeletons called Graveguard.
He's procrastinating, chat.
I am. Dan is right.
He just wants to keep painting Halgrim over and over.
Halgrim is his love.
See, what you don't know, chat, is that he actually he painted the cape already once, and then he reprimed it just so you could paint it again on stream.
Yeah. I was like, stream's gonna want to see this.
Stream's gonna want to see this. We gotta do it again.
This is important. Batman, these nuts. Okay, not everyone can be Azathoth. We get it. Just let him do it, okay?
Yeah, his capes are real red, chat. He likes that bold pyrrole red.
I mean, this is not even as beautiful as it gets. Well, I guess it kind of is. It's popping. It's definitely looking really nice.
My guys also are wearing red. It's a dark, grimdark red.
Grimdark red. Red that got shaded with a green ink or a green oil wash, so it's very, very nuanced. Look at that, a stick. Looks fine. Moving on. Got hair and an eye patch. You know what? I'll do a little bit more shading around the head of the halberd.
I need to start a Instagram called Chair Paints.
I mean, this meme is dying on Thursday, so.
Say that. We could still do some things.
I'm leaving it entirely in your hands. If that's something you want to do, we can do that. But I sure as shit am not gonna make it happen. Sounds like a very difficult. All right.
Yeah, Rufus, I'll be on stream Thursday, theoretically. Unless there's a camera malfunction. A framing issue.
And or both. We'll do this last, actually. We'll do the hair now. Whoa!
Yeah, that's the second big bang I've heard from somewhere.
Somewhere over there.
Yeah. Neighbors are banging around.
Banging around indeed.
Oh, Rufus, you want to see my army? Here, we can put it on stream right now.
We totally can.
The Annihilators aren't fully done, but that's because I'm waiting until I have heads for them. And also I'm putting some, I got some candle bits. I got this idea that the Annihilators, they've got these big shoulder pads that kind of go up above their heads. And I was like, man, what if their whole top of the body was like a shrine with a bunch of candles?
I like that idea.
It's gonna look cool. That's what I think.
It's gonna look very fucking cool. I think there's a Necromunda gang that maybe you could look into for some extra bits. Actually, I think I have one that you might like. Here right now. I don't know if it's gonna work because Stormcast are like big boys. Okay.
If only you could see the space off camera chat. Scott's knocking things around,
Hey,
dropping
pet cooks
things.
are hard, okay? What do you think of this guy?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about, except on a giant, definitely not a space marine guy. But yeah, that's in that same vein.
Yeah. Okay.
dig it.
If anyone's curious, this is the headsman from House Cawdor,
The headsman.
Executioner. I fucking love that that team for Necromunda. They're so cool. Okay, now we need some black. I want this hair to appear different than the bone, and so I'm going to use a different color for the shadow. We'll just use black because the bone itself is exciting enough. I don't need to make the hair look crazy. Hey-ya. Blue black? Good enough. Cawdor is what I run. Nice. I've painted one Cawdor mini. Like the big leader guy. This looks black. Huh. Okay, it's not. It's a little brown or whatever, but it'll do.
I also was going to swap out the lanterns, Lady Lantern, last night. Lady's Lantern.
Lady Lantern?
Lady Lantern. And then I realized that the lantern is kind of molded into her forearm because they cheated a little bit with these push to fit. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to resculpt her forearm. That's too much work.
Yeah.
So, a lantern, it shall stay. Dan, all I have to do for my 750 list is I add the lady with wings, and boom, I'm at exactly 750. And then if I decide I don't like that, I can take her out and put in one extra unit of annihilators, and boom, I'm at like 740 or something like that.
More annihilators.
Dude, I have so many annihilators.
I realize that I have a spell that does the reverse of what the annihilator's rule does.
Which one?
The one where when they charge, the distance they go is damage the enemy potentially takes. Mine says for every inch you charged on a 4-up, you take a mortal wound for the unit that charged you.
Oh, okay. So it's like a set for charge type thing?
Kind of, yeah. Obviously, it needs to happen in the magic phase, so like it wouldn't happen if they drop down and
Decided
charge
to
somebody.
Charge someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal when I dropped down and then rolled an 11 on the charge into Paul's guys. And I was like, cool, so we're going to start by rolling 11 dice, and on 4-ups you take mortal wounds, and then I get to attack you.
Yeah.
See ya, boys.
I think one issue that I've had with Age of Sigmar after revisiting it is, boy, this game loves dice.
Dude, I have a unit that if I reinforce it, I could be rolling 60 dice.
That's not necessarily what I mean, but that is crazy.
That's too many. That's too many dice.
I mean, that's fun. I'm all for big swings, lots of attack dice, but what I'm talking about instead is when I roll to cast a spell, the fucking spell should just go off. I shouldn't have to roll again to see if it does something, okay? Casting value, 6-up, okay, got it off, wasn't dispelled. Now I have to roll a 3-up, and if I don't get that, then it doesn't go off. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I've already gone through the rolling dice gauntlet. Don't make me do it again.
Well, I mean, you say that. That's your spells, man. My spells just work.
It's in the game too, like heroic actions. You want to gain a command point? Gotta roll 4-up. If you don't, you're just fucked. And like that's
it's everywhere in the game. It's everywhere.
Here's what you do. You take a really, really cheap, shitty general, and then you just run them in and have them die, and then you get +2 on that roll.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
Easy.
But it's just like, would the game really break if I was just like, just give me the command point? Like, reduce the number of feel bad moments you have in the game.
Yeah, GW's default is let's just roll for it. Is like the name of the game.
Yeah.
Whose turn is it next? Let's just roll for it.
Yeah. Like there's a couple of situations, and maybe it is just my faction, I don't know, where it's like I have to roll for the opportunity to roll again to see if the thing I want to happen happens. It's not just magic either. There's
other stuff like, I don't know, we were talking about Marathian Nagash and stuff. Did you see one of Nagash's special spells or abilities or whatever, which is like the Hand of Dust?
I saw you talking about it, but I didn't catch that specific interaction.
So that one is after it's like a 1-inch spell, or maybe it was 3 inches. It's like engagement range.
Yeah.
And it's pick a model in range and roll the dice, and it's like a 8-up cast or something like that, right? And then if this was successful, place a dice in one of your hands secretly, and then the other player picks, and if they find the dice, nothing happens, and if they don't, that unit is destroyed.
Oh my gosh. See ya, Willie.
Yeah, let me just casually put out this, 980 point guy, and his abilities are still just like bullshit RNG shit game.
Yeah. I mean, okay, if it's like one of the best spells in the game and I'm trying to mitigate it, like honestly, I would much rather have a spell that isn't as good as guaranteed to go off, because I could plan for it, I could be more strategic. If I'm like, this is gonna be amazing when it goes off, my opponent is sitting across the table sweating it out. If it goes off, he's gonna be like, well, fuck, okay, I'm like 20% further from winning now. And if it doesn't go off for me, then I have that same feeling. I'm like, fuck, well, there goes half my battle plan, or whatever, 1/5 of my battle plan.
Yeah.
It's like, just level out the experience so there's less tumultuous, experiences to happen. I don't know. That's just, maybe that's a me thing. Maybe y'all love it. Not y'all, but like the greater you all, the Sigmar players, love it when there's just like, holy shit, if I lose this priority roll, I'll probably lose the game. It's like, maybe they're thrill seekers. Maybe AOS is the game for thrill seekers.
I think from a really, really broad game design principle, the more random chance you interject into something, the less skill matters, is sort of like a fundamental design idea. But I don't think that even if you're applying that, it doesn't really help make the game more balanced for new players versus old players. Because the more experienced players making the right play, and they might lose because their dice hate them this game. But that doesn't mean that your game is balanced better or more approachable. It just means that it's not reliable.
Honestly,
Yeah.
what you just said, I think is a little bit true. Did someone say that in the chat, that like if it's more friendly to new players?
No, that's me. That's me talking.
That is true. So it's like, there's more of a chance that a newbie will win because the dice will literally just shit on you, and you can't do a whole lot about that.
Yeah.
That ain't cool, okay? If you're bad at the game, you should fucking lose, period.
Yeah, I generally agree. It's one of the reasons that I value Song. Don't get me wrong, you can get screwed over by dice. You can have a bad game or a good game that way. I've played plenty of games against Scott where it's like, his quote is, what's the point in playing if all my opponent ever rolls is 6s and I can't roll a save? And it's true. That does happen. But it is less just like, oh yeah, I've got this once per game ability, or I want this thing to happen. I need a 4-up. It's a 50-50 chance if something happens. I really hate the charging rule in Age of Sigmar, where if you don't roll a successful charge, your guys just stand there.
Yeah.
They just don't move.
If you don't get higher than 3, unlikely, but still, you're just fucked. You're just standing there.
It's like, just so dumb.
But there are ways around that, and the game. I think they realize that. I think they're realizing what we're saying, and they're changing the game a little bit, because there are things like spend a command point to modify your roll or re-roll your charge. A banner bearer in the unit, let's re-roll a charge. So that there are things that let you mitigate that feel bad moment.
But the thing is to me, it's not. I'm fine with failing the charge and not getting in there. right? That's not my big issue. My issue is like tactically, like, okay, so I'm playing Stormcast. I'm not playing the Stormkeep. I'm playing the Lightning Boys, so I can call my guys in from space, the Thundercloud Strike, and I drop my guys in somewhere. And it's like, oh, I want to make a charge from a position back here. But if I don't roll my charge successfully, then they just are going to stand there in the middle of the game board. Rather than, it's like, oh, they've got to go 9 inches and I rolled a 7. Just have them move forward 7 inches. They fail the charge. Okay. They moved not all the way into combat. That sucks. Or maybe they stop at the 3-inch mark, right? So they can't get into combat. Okay. That's fine. Having them just stand there seems like it breaks my verisimilitude, to use a role-playing and writing term, where it's like, why would they just stand there? They're charging. That's why you're rolling charge dice. If they fail to get in there for whatever reason, they got mired in the swamps or just didn't move quickly enough for the pace of combat, that's fine. But like the idea that they yell charge, woo, we're going for it, and then they just stand there. Maybe next time. Dumb.
People in this chat are saying the sweet minis and the evocative narrative. Yeah, no, I get that. Like, big dice rolls can create big winning moments and big losing moments, but like, I think I really care about that big losing moment, because like, if I'm feeling great, someone else is feeling bad. So it's just like, at least in a game where everyone is the same person as me, like that's how I would feel. And not everyone's like me. Like people like Paul that we play with locally, who will congratulate you when you roll well and crush him. And it's just like, is he the norm? I don't think so, but I don't know. But yeah, some people are saying like AOS is not the game for you, and maybe it isn't. But yeah, those are just some words of critique that I've kind of been thinking about after playing the game a little bit, thinking about the game a little bit more, reading a couple more of the rules, stuff like that.
I've been enjoying it so far. I don't have a problem with the fundamental gameplay design overall, but there's a couple of things that I can point at and just go, yeah, this is really dumb.
Yeah.
Let's just change this one thing. Charges are one of them.
I think I'm there with you. I appreciate how the game is getting closer and closer to being an alternating activation game as well.
Yeah,
It's
the
like
alternating combat works pretty good for bridging that gap.
it does. Also, the heroic actions are alternating as well. You have an opportunity before your opponent does something to heal your commanders, to rally units, and also reactions with CP points. It's like you're almost there, AOS. Just fucking do it. Just make the game alternating activation. Is it gonna break it? Probably not. Like you're probably fine. Like yeah, they keep adding more and more to supplement the system.
I mean, what's wild is like GW has, I think, a better alternating activation system than Song does in one of their games. Kill Team, I love that Overwatch rule, where if you're out activated, your guys have something to do.
That is interesting. Yeah.
I would love to see a mechanic like that in Song, to disincentivize. It's like, oh yeah, it's like there's an advantage to playing a smaller, more elite force. Right now in Song, there is not an advantage to doing that. Right, activations are king. Being able to make decisions with your opponent not being able to do anything is amazing, and we've seen that by Mance just crushing things on top of Free Folk, where you've got 11 activations and amazing abilities, and everyone else is sitting at 7 or 8, sometimes 9. Give the opponent something to do between activations. You're activated out, you get a 2-inch shift or whatever, right? Just something to mess with the other person's plans. I think that's a great mechanic. Hats off to GW for doing that in Kill Team. It's a great gameplay mechanic that I really appreciate. And why the hell aren't other games even alternating activation by this company? What the fuck?
Jim Criminy says, outside of GW, there are more and more wonderful systems. What are some that you like, Jim? I'd love to know all the ones. The team is so good. Yeah, it is great. They need to fix battalions. Pansy Bear, what's your issue with battalions? I think I have some ideas, but I'm curious to hear from a veteran. If you enjoy that, the Horus Heresy reaction system is amazing. If you're referring to, if by that you're referring to AOS, that is only nice because the system before was so fucking terrible. The preference is just to have a something very close to an alternating activation system. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know. With the reactions, it's definitely a nicer game to play. But also, Horus Heresy is just like Space Marine circle jerk. So,
Are you telling me that you don't like Space Marines, Scott?
Unfortunately, no. Not a huge Space Marine fanboy.
Aren't like all your most successful videos you painting Space Marines that you love so much?
Let's think here. Our most successful is contrast paint. Second most successful is converting a Renegade Titan. I'm not hearing any Space Marines yet. Wait, no. The first one is an airbrush one. Okay, I know what you're saying. But I'm just trying to be an asshole.
I know.
Yeah, fine. I love Space Marines. They're my favorite. Fucking win.
Heavy Metal series is coming back, baby. Nothing but Space Marines on Miniac.
We got one more. We got one more Heavy Metal Space Marine video to do. And if you have watched the most recent video, you have a extreme hint as to what it is. All right. Halgrim done.
Wow.
Belt painted, hair painted, eye patch painted, got a stick painted, red cloak. I'm just gonna slather some paste on the base here and give it a shitty paint job and move on.
Is that armor in TMM, TVB Denver asks, and the answer is yes. In fact,
See.
Halgrim was the example model in Scott's recent TMM guide video.
Ooh.
Was that like 3 weeks back?
Yeah, sounds about right.
I'll link it in the chat in a second here. I'm good at my job.
Eon's Battle, what up? Dead Zone by Mantic is a great sit down and roll war game. Very simple and feels great to play. I love the sound of that. I don't have another one of those videos coming soon, Couch Frog, but I've kind of been feeling the desire to make some more bases. So I might make one of those videos soon. 5 parsecs from Home and Rangers of Shadow Deep are excellent solo games. Rain and Hell, I agree. Thank you, Nox Geek. Appreciate it, man.
Lofty designs with the good ideas. GW should introduce an ability where you can PayPal them $10 to take an extra turn before your opponent. That's how real warfare works. The side with more money just wins.
You know?
That's definitely not true, by the way, but...
Is it not true?
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
It seems like maybe that could be true at least a portion of the time.
It certainly doesn't hurt to have more money. America is notoriously the winner of the Vietnam War, for example, because America had more money, so they won that war.
If you're making a historical joke right now, I do not get it.
Okay. We'll just leave that out there.
My history is very poor.
Captain Terminal resubscribing with Prime.
I mean, maybe a better example, I think, of what you're trying to discuss, which is guerrilla warfare winning out against cash.
There you go.
That I would understand. I picked it up. I figured out through context clues. The Revolutionary War, perhaps?
Yeah, we could go that far back. America had a lot of backing in that war.
That's
Luckily.
true. That's true.
And
Legion, okay.
it doesn't hurt that intercontinental travel at that point was measured in months rather than a day.
Yeah. That would have certainly
we got
made
some
it.
help from another country with red, white, and blue on their flag.
Hey Scott, love the AOS VOD on your second channel. I posted the question if you wanted some feedback on rules mistakes. Didn't just do so as I don't want to be demeaning / backseating. Lord Vladik, appreciate it.
We made a lot of rules mistakes.
Probably, yeah. Let me know, actually. Why don't you just let me know now, because I don't necessarily check that channel very often. A lot of comments to look through on all 3 channels: the podcast, that one, and my main one.
We've had some help from chat, which has been good. I know definitely the first game we were restoring models to the table when we shouldn't have been.
Oh yeah, like the hunger for the Blood Knights should not have brought back Blood Knights.
Yeah, also, I think you brought back some wolves with healing that wouldn't have brought them back at one point.
Possibly. I know I did the rally cry thing, which that's different.
And that obviously does. But you can't do that in combat and things
Gotcha.
like that. But yeah, any sort of stuff, feel free to pass it along. And also, if you're in the Discord, feel free to message me personally, because I'm trying to learn the game as quickly as possible. So
Also, that's definitely, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Evan, that seems to be kind of a personality trait of yours. Just kind of being a very detail-oriented person.
Me?
Yes.
Detail-oriented?
Yes.
Obsessive about, like, being successful at everything I do?
Yes.
Nah.
Definitely not.
I don't go and play song every week to keep my skills razor sharp.
Razor sharp. Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you, sir. Gotta limit myself. It comes to the point where you take either your army in a battle reg, 1-drop, so you can dictate the flow of the game.
We're not doing battle regiments yet.
Yes. Also, GW calls like the rules for a unit a battle scroll, right?
No, battle scroll is like the update. It's
War
scrolls.
scroll. Okay.
Battle scroll is like what they just released to change the point values on stuff.
I could have sworn they had used the word battle scroll elsewhere in the AOS ecosphere at some point, but it was battle scroll. Or no, it's war scroll. Did that guy say what rule we messed up?
I'm looking.
Oh, there it is. Wait, no, I already read that. But yeah, so yeah, I understand with the War Scroll battalions, you can have 1-drop by being the first person done. You get to dictate who goes first, and then from there you can do a little bit of shenanigans with some luck of the dice.
Yeah, so I'm being asked about my first game, my first 500-point game.
Yeah.
We played some things really, really wrong. And on top of that, he had 2 wizards each casting 2 spells apiece at 500 points. So every round, he basically was able to do 3 damage spells to my very limited model count army.
Wait, why 3? Why not?
I think 3 was all he really had access to, because he couldn't like double cast.
Can't you only cast 1 spell at a turn?
Yeah, no. Sorry, you can't cast the same spell twice, is my understanding.
I thought you could only cast 1. You can only cast 1 and unbind 1 spell a turn.
Well, no, it depends on the wizard, because his wizards can cast and unbind 2 a turn.
Okay, so his has a special rule. I think that's par for the course, though, that each one does 1.
Yeah. Basic wizards do 1 and 1. There are some that do more.
Halahart cast 2 spells. Gotcha. Thanks, Dan.
Yep, Halahart have that, and then like Nagash can cast 3 base, and then he gets +5. So yes, when he comes onto the board, he can cast and dispel 8 spells.
Yeah, Nagash, Teclis, people like that. Those guys are different.
Sure. Anyway, point is at the low point value, I was taking like 3d3 wounds at the start of every round, which made it very difficult to get across the board intact.
Yeah, I'll have to. And they're like, okay, that's tough, actually. I was considering taking a second wizard in 750 points, but John convinced me, and I agree, that I instead want just more foot sloggers.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah. I'll take a second wizard, a necromancer.
A necromancer.
At 1,000, because they have a thing called Von Hell's Danse Macabre, which basically allows me to swing with just swing twice with I think it's either summonable or a death rattle unit. So Graveguard can swing twice in a turn. And then with Crimson Feast for my Vampire Lord, those guys can have +1 attack. It's just there's like I can see a skeleton death ball forming in my list right now at 1,000 points. It's gonna be dirty.
Anyway, yeah, I got overwhelmed with spells, and then my one chance to get back in the game was my Annihilators making a charge, and even with a reroll, I didn't roll the 9 I needed, and that was basically it. It was fine. Oh, also, I was rolling bad enough on my saves. Ward saves and armor saves that I didn't make a single one until round 3.
With a with a 2-up armor save.
Including them, yeah.
Jesus.
It was pretty rough.
That sounds fucking rough.
It was bad enough that Alex and I agreed that I should just go buy more dice. And so I did, and those
Oh my god, you actually did?
I did it.
Oh my god.
I solved the problem.
Whatever. That's fucking crazy.
It's alright, I needed more dice anyway, so that when I have my unit that can roll 60 attack dice, I've got enough.
That's true, yeah, you need more. Do your dice like match your army scheme at all?
No. Frustratingly enough.
Someone's giving you advice about that 9-inch distance. I don't think he needs help, okay? I don't want that to happen. I don't want...
That's all right, Vince has already been happening. No, I don't have a Lord Impertinent. He's coming into my army at 1,000 points. You're absolutely right. If I could get him in sooner, I would. My force right now is 1 unit of Sequitors, 1 unit of Annihilators with shields, and my commander, which is a Lord Relictor. Initially, my commander was a Knight Incantor, and it didn't go great. Because being able to cancel 1 spell is not useful when they have another 3 spells on tap. So yeah, I would love to get the Lord Impertinent in there to drop him down 7 inches away, and that'll happen. But at the 750 step, I think I'm adding Angel Lady, because bringing back models is pretty sweet, and she brings back a lot of models.
Nice. Bring back models, 2-up saves. Kill me.
3-up saves, and then she's got a 4-up ward save.
Right. I mean, I'm assuming she can bring back Annihilators, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, she can. Any friendly unit wholly within 12 inches that has a wound value of 3 or less at the start of your hero phase, replace 1 model.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, and don't take battle shock tests in that range too. You just pass.
But you actually benefit from quite a bit because you have a 7 bravery.
Yeah, the Sequitors don't have a ton of bravery.
Yeah.
I'm not super worried about the Annihilators because they're a 3 model unit. So
yeah, you're not gonna lose a ton of wounds in any given turn.
All right.
Or models, not wounds.
We are not doing bounty hunters and that stuff. We're planning on adding in more of the side rules over time, to be clear.
I think the next thing we're going to add, because it's the most transparent, is this battle packs, which is just basically more ways to score in AOS.
Yeah.
Like that's just super easy. It's like, okay, you can score if a unit dies at the end of the turn. That was one of your controlled units. That's one of my like things I can use for Select Gravelords. That's easy to understand. Other things a little bit more complicated. We'll get more and more challenging as it goes on.
Yeah, battle tactics. That's probably the next thing. I'm sure that we'll start adding other stuff over time as well. I would guess that we'll probably add something with each step, because there's a bunch of things that we're skipping over, like battalions and so on. Yeah, and campaign rules are coming into this at some point, because Dan has kind of kit bashed the older campaign.
Are we gonna do that, Dan? Do you want to do that? I feel like maybe that was an expectation, but it really doesn't need to be.
He said he's basically got all the work done. So
Okay, I'm game to obviously include it then. I just didn't want to put any undue stress on you.
stress out Dan.
Dan's unstressable.
Dan's got nothing but time, man.
Yeah, he's got nothing going on, dude. Eon's a battle. You asked a question about like local games and stuff like that. Chad, if no one around you plays a game near you, what was the question that he asked? I'm curious. I missed it.
I'm looking for it right now.
Excellent.
Where did he say this?
I don't know. I just see people replying to it, unfortunately.
It'd help if I could read.
All right. That is good enough.
I don't see it.
Dan is burdened by 166 rocks. Chad, if no one around you plays a game near you, just do it. Get the stuff, paint it up, bribe your friends with pizza and beer.
Yeah, the best way to make nerd friends, if there are no nerd friends around, is to just make nerds.
Make what?
Make nerds.
Oh, I thought it was make pizza.
Well, that's the first step to making a nerd. You lure them into your home with pizza or beer or whatever. And they go, hey, man, are we going to watch the game? And you go, well, we're going to do something with the game.
We're going to watch a game.
Yeah, exactly. A game will be happening.
That's beautiful advice. Make the change you want to see in the world, chat. If you want to host a amazing painter in your local area, reach out to them, make it happen. If they don't work, get someone else, work up to it. Same thing for games. Whoa.
Someone asked me who my general was for my first game. It was a knight and cantor.
Oh.
As a little speed painting hack, what I've been doing with this, I kind of got lucky and found a basing material that was basically what my basing scheme was for my army. So like this chunky stuff kind of just works right out of the pot. I don't need to paint it really at all. And I've been kind of covering up sculpted detail on the base, like the dirt mound, for instance, right by Halgrim's feet. I kind of just cover that up because like it doesn't really need to be painted brown and then like have brown texture based stuff immediately next to it. That seems a little bit redundant. So just cover it up.
Board games are the gateway drugs to war games. Is that the shorthand for miniature war games? War is just call them war games? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I would say war games is generally the shorthand.
Okay.
Not all war games involve miniatures, but most do.
What's the war game that doesn't? Is Stratego a war game?
Chess.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Although you could argue that chess pieces are miniatures.
Yeah.
And the standees and Stratego as well, I suppose.
I mean, Risk is a war game. Yes, Risk has pieces in it, but those pieces are not necessarily part and parcel of the game. They're just representations of how many troops you have and things like that.
Wait, is Dan here? Yeah, I mean, he was here. He kind of pops in and out, John, but he was here.
Dan is Danimals 08. He's also like one of the only mods. It's him and Urk and me, I think. There may be a couple others.
I have a friend who's a professional miniature wargamer. Really? Someone makes a living off of playing war games? The chat box on the right side of the screen often covers and obscures your work. You may consider moving or deleting it. Just my 2 cents. Appreciate it. Maybe, yeah, moving it is
The reason why it's there in the first place, you might think it's a little bit silly that it's there. I totally get why it's silly, but the reason that it's there is because when we play this VOD back and I like answer questions and stuff, people can just see what the chat was at the time of me answering those questions. So it's helpful for context, but it is redundant right now, and I get that.
Also, part of it is Scott has a tendency to drift right. We honestly should put the chat on the same side as your face window, I think.
I agree. Now that I'm thinking about that, just have all those elements over on that side of the screen. Have a nice bounding box for the painting area. Not something that's kind of like a zigzaggy.
Wonder if I can do that right now. Give me a second. I'm not sure if that's part of the overlay or independent of this one.
John is not even a mod. Scott knows him too well. I can't be trusted. Great power comes great responsibility. Okay, I'm gonna blast this with a hairdryer for like a solid minute and a half, 2 minutes. Maybe less.
Well, say bye to chat.
Bye, chat. Thanks for the sub. 21 months? A 21-month streak? God damn. Thank you, sir. All right, here we go.
Yep. Baked into this one. That's all right. At some point, we'll take care of that, chat. I thought you were going to do that for 2 minutes, you said.
I like to do this thing with the paint. You want to pop me back in?
Oh, make it rougher as you dry it?
Because it gets all bubbly. And so then
Bubbly.
And it probably wouldn't happen if I didn't use a hairdryer. But it does. And so I textured up a little bit more, and then I blast it again, which also makes it dry faster because I'm kind of exposing that lower part that it is
Turning out that moisture.
Exactly. All right, back to it.
At some point, MCDM is going to stream the campaign for North Africa because they hit their fundraising goal on their most recent Kickstarter. And I'm looking forward to that. One day of that ridiculous game. It's going to be pretty good.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Where are my Giallo horror fans at? I just watched a movie called Deep Red, a Dario Argento movie, and was shocked by how good it was. Absolutely shocked.
Lol Sniped asks, in your opinion, what would be the way to advertise the hobby to more people? I mean, the obvious answer is a Super Bowl ad. That's what GW needs to do.
Oh, what a question. Holy cow. At first, I thought the answer to the question was obvious, and then you said Super Bowl ad, and then my whole world exploded. I was like, there's just so many marketing opportunities. Which one's the best one?
I do think that if you wanted to really expose it to truly new people, rather than trying to pull in people that exist on the periphery, it would be a move like that. It would be an ad campaign targeted at people that have occasionally seen the mention of D&D in real life and maybe have watched an episode of Stranger Things and thought it was boring or whatever. Like, you just go beyond that.
That's an idea. Is like having it be something that characters are doing in a popular show or movie, because that kind of always gets people interested. It's like, well, what are they doing? You can just show it for like a couple seconds. I don't know if that's the best way, but that certainly is a way.
I think GW is actually pretty successful at this already. Because in particular, Warhammer 40K has such a big footprint in video games, but also Warhammer Fantasy. Between games like Darktide and the Total War Warhammer series and things like that. Oops, I didn't mean to make you small again. That's a great way to bring in people who are already somewhat interested in quote-unquote nerdy hobbies. I don't think playing video games is all that nerdy anymore, but you know what I mean. And by doing that, it makes people interested in the lore, but also just like generally Googling things about the setting. Oh, what other games can I play that are like this and stuff? And they run across the fact that it's a war game. I definitely didn't know about the war game before I knew about one of the video games, which was Firestarter or Flame Warrior or whatever, the PlayStation 1 game that's notoriously terrible.
This is a 40K game?
Yeah, you play as a Tau warrior, and it's like really bad. Mandalore Gaming did a review of it a while back. It's pretty funny because it's just so buggy and awful.
I'm gonna try something that I've never done before because we got time. I'm gonna make a pigment wash.
John, that's Firestarter, isn't it?
I think I saw Jay on Eons of Battle do this on some bases for Dave from Mini Wargamers Kickstarter. That's what it was. So I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna take some pigment, water it down a ton, which you can't really see me doing. My apologies.
Ian Sabattle says, "Me, I'm Jay."
Yes, it's him. He's in chat. Yeah, I was watching it today because I was watching it for a video, and then I saw you do this, and I was like, I kind of heard about this, but I don't really know how it works. I'm gonna try it out. I don't know how much water to add to a pigment wash. I don't really care about the pigment being suspended in any kind of medium. I just want it to flow. So like, I'm assuming the more water, the better, to a degree. And then I'm gonna kind of wash it onto my base. A reality show is another good idea.
You know, one could make the argument that this is the miniature painting reality show right now.
Why is that?
It's live, it's miniature painting, it's a show.
It's not a reality TV show, though.
What makes it a reality TV show? It's unscripted.
There's no drama.
I mean, we can make some drama.
I don't know. It's not I guess technically it might be considered a reality TV show, but in terms of expectations, it ain't gonna meet those.
Yeah, it's not trashy enough to be a reality TV show.
Absolutely. Okay, have you seen Love Island, bro? Yes, Noski's got it's not nearly enough drama for a reality TV show. Yeah. Talking Chair is pretty dang dramatic. There's no drama in Great British Baking Show either, to be honest. Is that a reality TV show, though? I feel like that's a baking show.
Absolutely. It's a reality TV show.
There's some drama. Well, Scott never finished a model, Kappa.
Oh! Now, there is some drama.
Oh, there's drama. Stream just shits on me all the time, you know?
And see, here's all we need to do to turn this into a reality show is I need a soundboard that has all those stupid musical sound effects. Yeah, go ahead. You know, that noise that's in like every Fox and NBC and stuff reality show constantly. Yeah. And some of that reality show weird tense music. Some jump cuts. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely less scripted than reality TV is, generally speaking. Let me look it up. Video that I just posted in chat is like the thing everyone should always have watched before they watch any reality TV. Charlie Booker's screen warp segment on it. 5 minutes, well worth your time. Classic stuff. Just pointing out how manipulative editing can actually be, even with non-scripted stuff, where you can just make the video say whatever you want it to say through careful editing.
Yeah, I always kind of wondered that when watching Love Island. I'm kind of like watching it. I was like, they could have edited this conversation to remove details that are like the show is pretty incestuous in its dialogue. The people are often talking about the relationship they're forming in the show versus just forming a relationship by like asking questions like, oh, what kind of music do you like? Like what do your parents do for a living? What do you for a living? Like questions like that. You never really hear those questions. Kind of more like, yeah, how are we doing? You think we're doing okay? You think we can make a thing out of this, a run out of this? And it's like, I don't fucking care about that. So then it got me thinking, it's like, man, they could be editing this to make people say whatever the fuck they want to say.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I basically am at the point where unless it is a uninterrupted sequence of the person on camera saying the thing, I don't believe that that's their actual statement.
Yeah.
Because it is, speaking as someone who's edited a lot of audio in his time, it is trivially easy to take someone's statement and make them say something else with it. And have it be totally unnoticeable. The normal sort of audio hitches and fumbles you'll notice in chopped up sentences can be easily overcome with auto-tune. Melodyne and similar tools can be used to make edits sound seamless on spoken words in a shockingly unnoticeable way.
Don't ruin Love Island for me, okay?
What'd you say?
So don't ruin Love Island for me, okay?
I've never watched an episode, so for all I know, it's the best show ever made.
It's a guilty pleasure. Okay, so what I did after this was I took a wet brush and I tried to brush off the tops of where the wash settled so that it would settle in the recesses. And I'll just go and say right now, maybe it wasn't the best idea to do it with a damp brush, maybe a dry brush itself, because there's no medium in the pigment, would have been enough to remove the pigment on the very tops of the rocks. But as you can see, or can see, nothing happened. And I think maybe the color I chose for the pigment, while it is different than the paint itself, it wasn't different enough. When I watched Jay do it in his video, he did it on a gray rocks with red pigment. And so it's gonna show up like a kind of a crazy amount.
You might even call it a contrast paint.
Maybe. I don't want to say that. Yeah, you just said it right there, Jay. Exactly. I think that was the problem. I think so. Learning lesson, didn't do shit. I'll try something different next time. A little bit more drastic of a contrast. Love me some Iron Chef. Me too. This is a hero, so we'll give him a little bit of a nicer base here. Pop over to the paint rack, grab me some of my favorite.
I had it.
I want some Mod Podge Dimensional Magic. Hoo-yah! Make it look a little muddy, a little nasty. And we'll add some tufts and some bushes. Okay. Just little splodges.
Just remember, all of the suspicion and criticism that you have for reality television should always be applied to documentaries as well, because often they are employing the exact same editing tricks to make people say things other than what they're saying.
True. True.
And documentaries are generally not held to any sort of journalistic rigor or standard because they're not being made by a company that's trying to adhere to those things. It's not always true, and certainly there are many great documentaries out there, but
What was the last doc you watched?
what was the last documentary I watched?
The last I watched was My Octopus Teacher. Someone asked if I have played Cursed City yet. No, unfortunately not. But painting my Soulblight Glaivelord army is going to, in a big way, paint up a lot of the models for that game. Not a big way, but some small way. Like painting the 10 skeletons. Those can be used as my Ulfenkarn watch, I think is what they're called, for the game. Silly Evan thinking there's such a thing as journalistic standard.
My first radio job, I was the news director for a radio station. True story.
I believe it.
I got fired after 6 months. That's a radio thing. The people who were in the role before me all either left or were fired after 6 months, going back like 4 years, so, or maybe more.
Oh my God.
Radio is definitely one of those fields that it's very rare to be in a position for a long time. I've been at the current station that I have my part-time gig with for over a decade, and that's because I'm not format specific. So even though many people have been fired from the station as they change directions, I'm more a piece of equipment than a personality there. It has its advantages.
I just put way too much super glue on this little sheet of wax paper that these tufts are on because it was coming out of an area that I was not expecting. Cut a hole in the side of my super glue like neck, so it's kind of like spilling out of that area. And now I've soaked 4 tufts to oblivion at this point. Oh well.
It just makes them frosty.
Yes.
Or something.
And also incredibly hard.
So, those bushes are bricked up.
Yeah, dude, it bricked up bushes. All right. There's my first variety of flora and fauna. Now for more. Maybe a mini painting reality show with challenges like the show on Netflix with cakes nailed it. Yeah, definitely. Or the tattoo show. Those all work as a format.
You mean the tattoo show where 2 friends design tattoos for each other and you don't know what you're getting tattooed on your body?
No, but that sounds awesome.
I've seen some absolutely wild stuff on that.
I like that idea.
That show cannot be ruined for me because I've seen some bad tattoos in my time.
On that show specifically?
Yeah. Hang on, let me look it up here.
I love vines. I think vines look so cool. Wouldn't be nearly as catastrophic. I'd be catastrophic
How far
in terms
is
of
tattoo far?
Oh my gosh, that's nice.
The UK version is called Just Tattoo of Us. Which I like more, but they're both pretty good. They haven't made a lot of episodes of this. They made 2 seasons, 2018 and 2019 for the American version. Just Tattoo of Us has 5 seasons. And most of the time it's pretty sweet and pretty good. They're still making the UK version apparently, or maybe they didn't finish it? I don't know what's going on here. Maybe they just didn't update the Wikipedia page. Okay. But there are some absolutely brutal, bad tattoos done by friends to other friends, basically. Highly recommended.
In like inconspicuous areas or in like very obvious areas?
Both. Nothing like I gave you a bad face tattoo or anything like that.
Okay, yeah, that would be rough.
I think as I recall, the deal is that you get the tattoo in the same spot on both people's bodies.
Okay.
But there were definitely a few that were just kind of like, where one of them is like, man, they're really gonna like this tattoo. I worked really hard to come up with a theme that's gonna like talk about our friendship or their family or whatever. And the other one's like, yeah, I'm a big fan of the meme, and I think it'll be really funny if it's just like a slutty dolphin or something, or whatever, just like some dumb thing. Let's see, you have this massive disparity. Good stuff.
I don't know if any of you guys do this, but I like to spend a bit of time on a nicer model and kind of like trim the hedges, as it were. Just if there's a bunch of like little like strands that are all going in the wrong direction, I'll kind of rip those out and make sure everything kind of makes sense. Nice. Bush. Love me a little bush.
Oh God, some of these are so awful. I've only watched a couple of these on YouTube, and now I'm seeing like, yowza. I don't think I would be able to watch this as a show. I think it would make me too upset, but one or two is pretty good.
Out of there. Care to share a link to a trailer of the miniature TV show Great Bake Off Style? I don't know if I know of that. Oh, Mr. Shankly gifting 10 subs.
Hey, you know what we still need to do, Scott?
What was that?
Well, the countdown's not working because that should have pushed us over the edge for our giveaway today.
Hey, also, let's not undermine this man's and his great donation to our noble cause. Thank you so much, Mr. Shankly. We appreciate it.
Who knows? Man. Dark Pony, Atraxius, I tried. Shih Tzu, Gas Rat, Spatsnat, Double D's Minis, Nitro Sarcasto, Nurgle Matthew, and Cursed Oracle 421, all receiving subs from Mr. Shankly.
Also, there was a prime sub before that from Le Captain Blaubauer. Thank you so much for the prime sub. Thank you so much for those 10 subs as well. We really appreciate that.
And if you did just get a gifted sub, you can join the Discord. And I just put the little instructions. If you don't have your Twitch and your Discord linked, you'll need to do that. But that'll get you access to the Discord where we hang out and post pictures of stray cats. Let me get this giveaway set up because it's time to do it.
Heck yeah. So last week we were giving away one of ML's models for his Kickstarter in celebration of his campaign launching, and also to advertise it a little bit. It was the elf guy who was leaning on his sword. We reached out to him and asked, because you guys were concerned, if we could give them away. He's more than happy. So yeah, we're giving away that elf guy.
Yeah, his name is Tharkos.
What did someone say? I long for the day when we have VODs here. Well, you don't gotta long anymore, because the VODs have been on Twitch for how many weeks / months, Evan?
Almost a month now, I think.
Almost a month? So yeah, the VODs are here.
Yeah, you can watch VODs on Twitch. You can also watch VODs on YouTube. I did notice that we haven't had an upload there in like a week.
Yeah, I know.
Something like that.
It is entirely on me.
Yeah, it is. That's why I'm pointing it out.
Yeah.
Jeez, Scott.
The last time it worked out, I just did a ton in one day. There was never like a scheduled time for me to do it. So I just kind of never do it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of my fault. So I just need to figure out a way to incorporate making a thumbnail and a title into the stream, so that it's just done when I walk away from the office.
One of the things that blows my mind Scott and I are both big fans of Linus Tech Tips.
Big fans.
Big fans. And when they do their weekly stream on Friday nights, so they start up their pre-stream first on Floatplane and Twitch before they go live on YouTube, because that's where the main chunk of the viewers are. And during that, they make their thumbnail. They like grab a screen grab and put it together and put it on the YouTube stream like in a minute. And I'm just blown away at how efficiently they're able to do that.
I
Good
think,
stuff.
yeah, the thumbnail, the thumbnail isn't the hard part. For the gaming streams, it is. For the painting, we have a pretty awesome process, if you want to call it that, figured out. For the gaming stream, not so much. I have to kind of think more about that. But, what was I gonna say? Oh, the hard part is like, we record a VOD, and it's like, do we want to upload that VOD, or do we want to, like transfer the VOD from Twitch over to YouTube? That's like way easier to do. Yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of where I'm at.
Well, those are all interesting questions, but the most interesting thing right now is that you can type !moist in the chat to enter our giveaway from Tharkos from Champions of Sona, live on Kickstarter now.
Also, I believe, Chickadee Chat, this is Halgrim complete.
If you are from a country that doesn't allow you to enter giveaways, don't do it.
Don't do it.
You know better.
Don't do it. Okay.
Snapping your fingers.
Yes, I want
Wrong
to.
camera.
I want to show the model that we're giving away right now.
Is it lovingly put into a plastic gallon bag?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
That's definitely the official Kickstarter packaging, by the way. It's just a quart Ziploc bag thrown into an envelope.
By the way, Emil did not ship this to me like this. I did, because it says Guild Ball on the bag. Pretty sure he's not into Guild Ball.
Everyone knows you're a Guild Ball fan.
Everyone.
Oh, yeah. Lev Gleb wanted to know what was the name of the water effect that you were using, Scott.
Oh, yes. It is Mod Podge Dimensional Magic. I learned about that in a class from Sam Lenz that I had him teach because I invited him over to my house. I tricked him into coming to my house. And he taught a class here. And it was actually for John's birthday. Well, it wasn't for John's birthday, but he was here for his birthday. Taking that class, we did it together. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, and I learned about Mod Podge Dimensional Magic in that class. And it's always worked for me for like a little shallow pool. That's really all I want. All I want is a tool meets my specific needs and requirements, okay? That's all I need.
Fenris Wrath, subscribing with Prime.
Oh, thank you, Fenris Wrath. Anyways, here is the elf's torso.
And head.
And head. Nice camera swap, by the way. On point.
I'm always on point with my camera swaps.
Yeah. Okay. I totally relate. For a long time, maybe like 5 or 6 years, I used to run the slides at my local church. I haven't done that in a while now, but fuck me, man. If I ever made a mistake, I would get at least 5 heads just kind of being like, is there someone back there? Someone doing the goddamn job?
Back me up, chat. I've never made a mistake in my life.
Here's the head and the torso. Here's the big old fuck off sword that he's like kind of leaning on.
He's like sitting on it.
Yeah. Mistake free here.
That's right. Bill Robertson knows what's up.
He's a homie, dude. Bruh, I use liquid glue for my water effects, Resident Sleeper. I mean, whatever works. I'm sure a lot of products work for like the whole shallow pool like idea. Okay. How are we looking at the giveaway?
What do you mean?
In terms of time left.
Oh, we got 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, perfect.
I set it up to, it'll end like right when we're ending the stream, technically. If we're going to end at 4, which we normally do, theoretically, that's when the giveaway's ending. We're obviously going to be here for another few minutes after that. But yeah, we got 15 minutes to kill, man.
Yeah.
I could show off some of my badly painted minis.
Let's do that. I'm not saying they're badly painted. I'm just saying let's do that. Let me do a little mail time with the stream while also showing the newly finished Halgrim off. So, here's Halgrim. I'm gonna zoom out a smidge, make everything shake.
You're making me seasick.
Yes.
And yeah, if you want to enter that giveaway again, you should be seeing it in chat. A whole bunch of people typing !moist. It's not that difficult to figure out what you're supposed to do. But just in case you need an auditory explanation, that's how you enter. You got to be a follower of the channel to enter, which is easy. You just click the little heart button for follow. And that's just because sometimes people have preferences where we can't send them a message after they've won. So that gets around that. Yeah. So what's the deal with that 3D printed handle, Scott?
Yes. So this is a prototype from a company, A-Cases, the guys that make my case over there, and they sent one to me to give some feedback about. And I thought it was fun. I liked some of the ideas they incorporated. One of the ideas I don't like, you're seeing it right now, is I can't get this model off of here because there's a lip around the whole edge, which does two things. One, in order for me to get this model off of here, I need to grab, okay, that worked. If I were a lesser man, which is hard to believe, I'd have to grab it from here and pry it off, which I don't want to do. So I don't like the lip around the outside, but they have one top to it here. Cool. It comes off, and there are 3 other tops. This is a smaller version of what we just saw. Got an ergonomic curve to it. Yeah, exactly, Rufus. It does here too. And so here's my issue. Here's my second issue with this rim. And again, it's just a prototype. This is not a product you can buy right now. So they sent it to me. They want some feedback. I'm cool about that. By the way, this guy is super glossy because I tested a varnish on him just to see what the finish was, and it was glossy. If I want to put this guy, or a guy like this, not an oval base, but a bigger one, if I want to put him on this thing, he is lifted up away from the metal, reducing the magnetic strength. The piece of metal or whatever this is should just be flush to the top. So you can put any arbitrary base size on it, and it is right against it. But you know, this is the whole point of why we're doing what we're doing. I'm giving him feedback, and he's gonna make a better product. Or he's gonna take my feedback and others and make a better product. So there's one, love it. Next one, same diameter, but more of a grippy head that you can, I don't know, have more tactile grip to. I personally like this more. I like the ergonomic feel more. And then lastly, an ergonomic grip with cork in it. And actually, I didn't think about this, but this comes out if ever you wanted to replace it. And on the bottom, there's metal. And I didn't think about this, but it has to be there, right? Because otherwise, it's such a loose fit that it would fall out. And if it was pressure fit, it'd be a bitch to get out. So it's replaceable, and it stays in there because of magnets.
It's probably a standard size piece of cork too.
Yeah, and that would be even sicker if he did that, so you could do it yourself if you wanted to. I love it when products do that.
My guess is that it is, because there are, as ridiculous as it is to say, there are like standard size cork caps for a variety of size necks. And so that's probably like, you know, a number 3 or whatever. And you just glue the magnet onto the bottom and boom, you have a replacement cork after you've worn one out.
That'd be nice.
I'm down with that. I really like that.
I really like that too. I love when companies do that. They're like, hey, you can buy it from us. Here it is. It fits. We know it fits. If you don't want to do the work to figure out one that works in a local Hobby Lobby or whatever, we have it. But it also fits this standard. Like that fucking gets me hot and ready. So yeah, it's a cool new handle. I think another point of feedback I had was that I would like it to be a little bit longer. I actually compared it in height to the GW one, and as you can see, it is basically identical. But I don't have an issue with the handle height with this one. I think it comes down to the shape. Just fits in my palm really nicely, and I can grip it in the way I want to grip it, like right at the top. This one's kind of a chonkier boy, and I think with a chonkier boy, my fingers just rest higher up on the thing, and I want to be kind of more down here. But if I'm more down here, then my whole palm has no handle in it, That doesn't feel as nice. It's nicer
you
when
can
it's
do
lower.
you can do the wine glass grip with that more modern GW one.
Yeah.
I have that older style one where the handle's kind of like a dodecagon or something.
Yeah, whatever
It's like thicker and it has the segmented sides and stuff.
Some kind of polyhedron.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't use my painting handles for painting very much.
No, I mean I use them all the time. They're not required. I never used to use painting handles, but I think I would always prefer to use them if I had the option. Anyways.
I just want to rub the primer off my minis.
I feel that. When it shipped to me, it came like this, and I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Then I figured it out.
The Omega handle.
Yeah. Which I guess, if you want it to be longer, there you go. It's longer. And that is a nice length right there. That's a nice meaty boy, but it kind of breaks in half in the middle a little bit. Anyways, that concludes mail time. The GW butt plug design has many surprise uses. I think you just implied one right there. Vithiel, thank you for the Prime sub. We appreciate that. Okay, we're at a weird situation where I have finished the model. I don't necessarily want to start a new one.
It's amazing. It happened, stream. 6 streams of painting Halgrim or whatever.
Hey, it was on and off again, okay?
50,000 streams.
50,000.
Gonna paint Halgrim until the heat death of the universe.
Okay, fuck man, right. That's it, stream. All you get to see now is speed painting. I'm never gonna paint a nice model ever again. Y'all can suck it!
It's alright, the chat agrees that your speed painting is better than John's, so it's fine. Yeah, what's the mail time? Show us the mail time.
I just did.
That's it?
That was it.
Alright, well then you can show off my models.
Yes.
The ones that are more done, ideally. The Annihilators haven't gotten their final steps because they need the melty candles.
Okay. I get a lot of compliments on your Kickstarter models. Awesome. Glad to hear. Someone check.
No, I haven't gotten my heads, Rufus.
Shouldn't rely on me. I'm not your man. Wasn't there a guy at a Song of Ice and Fire who was like a 3D printing guy?
Oh no, he had the laser cutter.
Oh, okay, he's the laser cutter
You're
guy.
talking about Nick, yeah. I saw he was at paint night.
Oh, nice.
He didn't paint. Like he was around near the same time you were actually.
Oh.
Because he was stopping by to pick up some stuff. They had a kid like 6 weeks ago, so he's been away from the game store for a while.
Gotcha. All right, just want to put another base trim on that boy. Kind of touched it before it was done curing, and it got.
Mine haven't been base rimmed because you don't rim the base until the mini is completely 100% done.
I mean, I agree with that.
And they are still missing their heads. So.
All right, Evan. I have 2 points of feedback.
Watch them struggle.
Oh man,
We've given away a bunch of these.
That thing bends. Okay. My first point of feedback is 1.
Which one are we going with?
This one.
Yeah, all right.
They have no heads, and the base rims aren't painted.
Yeah, I know. It's bullshit, man.
Okay, so Evan he's part of the hot pink gang now, but he's not fully invested because this could use some hot pink.
I knew you were gonna say it,
and it would definitely be better, 100%. See over here, he kind of agrees, but he's not fully invested here. Because I think if I had to guess why Evan's not willing to put hot pink on this, he's like, God damn, that's the nicest sword I've ever painted. I don't want to fuck it up. Am I right?
No, actually, my reasoning was I was looking at pictures of lightning in clouds, and I think it looks really good because there's a lot of pictures of purple clouds with purple lightning.
Yeah.
And it's kind of in that color space.
Reality can eat my dick. Hot pink forever.
I'm probably going to do it just because it matches. You'll also notice that the eyes on that Annihilator's chest, the
Wait,
one that's the
eyes?
lion chest.
There's eyes anywhere on this model? Oh, hey, look at there.
Yeah. I did hot pink on those too. Little subtle touch there.
Yeah. He's busy spilling it all over the floor.
I only got a little bit on the floor, Dan. I mostly got it on Michael's paint carrying case.
You trust me, Evan?
Yeah?
I want to paint your sword hot pink, but I'm not going to.
Go for it, man.
I'm not going to.
Go for it.
All right, fine. I need 2 reassurances, and then I'm good. All right.
I only spent like 30 minutes on that sword, so.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, I just burn your house down.
All right. I did find that hot pink paint. All of it.
Rocket Man Prop says, these are the tallest dwarves I've ever seen.
We got 5 minutes, chat. I think we end at 4. It'll give me time to make a thumbnail right now.
And on that note, the giveaway also ends in 5 minutes. So if you haven't entered the giveaway yet, !moist in the chat. Please don't enter if you are in a place that doesn't allow you to enter.
Heck yeah, Fenris Wrath. We are on the way to getting that done.
So are you thinking you're just going to go over the lightning bolt itself or the whole sword?
Dan asked what we're using. We're using Fluo, Magenta from AK. I have a couple of different varieties. They're all pretty good.
A couple? Dude, you got a whole box full.
I do. It's impressive. What am I gonna do? Fluo paint is so transparent that what I like to do is kind of go a little haphazard with it and just glaze it over the entire thing. And it's gonna pick up so much in that white and less so in your pink and purple tones, but it'll be there a little bit. But just to start out with a less risky move, we'll paint just the white areas and the areas around it. Like a very small area around it. We'll just see what it looks like. I watered it down too much. And maybe what we'll do actually is we'll push the pink to the edge of the blade and keep the core bright and white. So you kind of get some of that, I don't know, it's like more powerful when it's more toward the core of the blade. The other side now.
Rufus Kit says, can we add reality can eat my dick to the soundboard? Oh boy, we're getting rated.
You getting rated?
By Tom Astrosci.
Hey, Tom Astrosci, thanks for the raid. We appreciate it, my friend.
For those of you that just showed up, we are doing a giveaway. We got 3 minutes left. Not even 2 minutes and 43 seconds. ! Moist in the chat for our good friend Squidmar's Kickstarter. Let me throw a link to that. Hang on. I can type. I can hit Control-C, Control-V.
Whenever I hear the phrase I just think of I can
break these cuffs.
break these cuffs.
I think I've brought that back in because I say that a lot.
It's a good one.
It's really good. You can't break these cuffs. Yeah, so if you didn't know, they're doing a Kickstarter right now. Already successful. They've raised 177 grand for their 75 millimeter models. There's a lot of really cool models in this Kickstarter. You should definitely give it a gander. And if you're interested in winning the elf sitting on his big sword,
which is
Tharkos.
also the official name of the model.
Tharkos. We're giving them away.
Magenta paint or fluo paint, so special.
Used a lot of fluo paint on those guys.
The more you add,
the stronger it gets.
So the orange OSL effect is golden soul flat fluo orange, and I love it so much. It's also present in the lava cracks itself as well. Scott just can't resist an opportunity to add hot pink to stuff. And in fact, I'm kind of shocked that your army is so light on the, big, bold pink colors.
I got enough of it with my novitiate kill team.
That's fair. These guys are, as they appear, they are anvils of the Heldenhammer. Black armor with gold trim, mainly red robes with white. All right, time is up. Let's pick our winner.
Let's do it.
The guy on the couch, 34. Sound off in the chat. You got to be here to win.
That was his name?
That's the name.
God damn it. Cannibal Daddy 69, 21-month streak. What is up, Mini Family? What is up, Cannibal Daddy 69?
Still waiting for that response.
If you do not respond, you do not get the pretty minis.
Hey, we're lurking on the stream while at work, too.
True.
Yeah, pretty much. Hold on. He's on the couch still. We'll see. We'll see. Give him a couple minutes. If he doesn't respond, then we just pick another winner. That's how it works. Cannibal Daddy, you're just a little too late for the giveaway here. Just too bad. There's always more giveaways. What he's working on right now is one of my Stormcast sequiturs for our escalation game. Because he couldn't handle a light pink and purple sword. It's got to be hot pink. And in fairness, it does need to match. You can show off my own hot pink application from last night on the, what do they call them? The prime from the unit or whatever? Yeah, none of them have heads. They are still in production. So yeah, sucking up a soul from a dead thing that I haven't put on the base yet. I'm waiting for something that's more appropriate to put onto a lava base than the corpse that comes with the model. Which is like a disemboweled zombie. And I'm like, that would be like roasted, so we're gonna go with the skeleton. All right, we still haven't gotten a response from the guy on the couch, so we're picking a new winner.
Rip the guy on the couch.
Yep.
Great name. But tardy.
All right, our new winner is Anatrius. I don't know how to pronounce this. Yeah, but you responded right away.
There it is.
That's the way to do it. All right, so what we need you to do, let me go over here to my other tab.
Purple.
Boom. Send me a message. Don't put it in chat. Including your full name, your address, and your email address. Easy as that. And we'll get this out to you, and you can be one of the first people to have this mini, which is pretty cool. Box artists obviously have had it. We've had it. Some people on Fiverr from one of his videos had it. And now you'll have it.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Exclusivity. Okay, so if you click on the Miniac name up there, there's a thing that says Whisper. That's what you want to click. Easy peasy. Yeah, there we go. Where are my post-it notes? Notice how quiet he's being, chat? He's more nervous about painting because it's my mini.
Absolutely. What happens when we mix fluo paint with regular paint?
I've done it.
Does the world end?
I think it depends on the paint. The stuff that I did, it had no problem.
It seems okay.
I have the golden high flow fluo stuff. It's kind of my main stuff. And then in addition, I have the So Flat. I have fluo yellow and fluo orange. And they all seem to mix okay. Hey, that's good news. Also, I want to give a little shout out. The heads that I had commissioned, aside from being printed the wrong size, which is maybe a us issue more than anything, they came out awesome. And I got those from Resin Mancer on Etsy. He's done some stuff for the song community, and I dug his work, and I was like, hey, you want to make me some heads? And he said, yeah. And the price was very reasonable. I'm going to have him make me more heads because I'm going to do different heads for all my different types of units probably.
He's not going to ask me to print them all.
No, I bought my own damn 3D printer. Yeah, and he's here in the chat. Yeah, grab a link.
Okay. It's not perfect, but it's zappy. The other magenta and fluo pink thing you have doesn't have white in it at all, but I wanted to preserve some of that for that electric feel.
Yeah, because the part of my reasoning was the other one is it could be a completely different color because it's sucking up the soul of something, right?
Right.
And I don't know, the soul of that thing might be green or blue or whatever. But then I was like, let's keep it thematic.
Yeah, that makes sense from like a realistic fantasy point of view, but from I want my scheme to look cohesive point of view, maybe it's better to have it just all be hot pink or whatever spot color you picked.
There's still going to be an additional spot color of like a dark teal, which is going to be the little prime plume.
Dark teal.
Yeah. It's like the Anvils of Heldenhammer's other color.
Okay.
For the leader units, they will have some sort of signifier to show that they are the leader with a piece of pop color of that.
What about the underside? Oh, we don't care about that.
Yeah, no one's gonna see that. I did some very basic blends there just in case you catch it, and it doesn't matter. That sword is almost horizontal to the ground, so the only way you see that is if you look at it like from underneath, which is
you got to get like beyond underneath it.
Yeah.
Like
and I still did something there because why not? But yeah, it's not really worth worrying about.
What do you think, Evan? Did I make it worse or make it better?
Well, I'm looking at it through a postage stamp right now. Give me a second. Definitely looks more energetic. I think it looks better.
All right, nice. Damn you, Scott. Looking at the minis from Squidmar Kickstarter, debating getting the elves. What have you done to me? You're welcome.
So yeah, the heads aren't on there yet, but they will be soon because I'm pretty happy with them once I have the right size printed. And there's a link to his Etsy shop. Free shout out in chat.
Resin Mancer. All right, we done?
I think we're just about done. I got my message from the giveaway. We've done painting. We've done the thing. And you should join us Thursday. I'll be on stream probably.
Heck yeah.
Unless we have a weird series of technical difficulties.
Yes. More than likely, Evan's long-awaited face reveal is occurring this Thursday. We're duking it out. 500 points, Age of Sigmar, Northern Conquerors, Escalation League. Be there, be square. We're looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Got a lot good thematic showdown as well, because I believe this chamber of Stormcast is all about fighting the undead. Because actually, now that I think about that, the second season of, or maybe even the first season. What season of Underworlds had Sequitors in it? Was it the first or the second with the Briar Queen?
I think that's the second. I have those. I haven't painted them yet. The one that's like leaning on the shield and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I have those.
Yes. So, yeah.
I'm turning them into annihilators.
That works.
Like hybrid Sequitur annihilators.
Okay.
I'm doing a whole thing. I'm replacing that shield. Fun fact. I'm replacing that shield with the big like corpse banner thing from the Lord Relector model, which is, I think, gonna come out pretty cool. So she'll be leaning on a big like corpse thing with candles on it stuff.
I think that'd be cool.
It's gonna be sick.
Season 2 of the Briar Queen, gotcha. So yeah, anyways, Undead I mean, it's not necessarily what I'm playing, Soul by Gravelord, but it's still Undead versus Stormcast Eternals. That's the chamber he's using. It's gonna be fun and thematic, a lot of fun interactions. Evan's throbbing sword is painted, looks kind of veiny. A lot of dick jokes right now in the chat. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know if your dick looks fluorescent pink, but if it does, you should contact a physician. If it's fluorescent pink and it's got lightning on it, bro, I mean, either you're a superhero or you're fucked.
Yeah, you know, that's not normally the warning you hear on like the Viagra commercials or whatever.
Yeah.
Normally it's if it lasts for more than 4 hours, seek medical attention. But maybe there's a smaller disclaimer we haven't noticed, which is if it turns fluorescent pink, it starts glowing.
Evan better be gorgeous as fuck. The anticipation is wild, dude. He's just an absolute Chad. He's got an 8-pack. He's got a chin that can fucking cut diamonds. Looking forward to it. All right, that's Thursday. Who should we host? Stream? Anyone want? Where should we send y'all?
Oh yeah, I haven't even thought about that. I was too busy doing the giveaway stuff.
Hot pink lightning penis.
Let's see who's live right now.
I should paint Briar Queen. So pretty. Yeah, definitely. Look at this beautiful boy in the fucking chair with the crown. We should make a Halloween costume for Evan that's just like a chair. But it's like his face in the middle of like the mesh backing. I think that'd be great. Hassan Abi, we are not gonna host Hassan.
I think HUD suggests that like every week.
Okay, yeah. We're not gonna do Hassan. Mohawk Minis, Jimmy. Let's do Jimmy. I haven't done Jimmy in a while.
Jimmy the Brush?
Jimmy the Brush.
All right. I can click on things.
No, I suggested Amaranth before. Nice. Yeah, okay. Amaranth, Hassan. Okay. All good suggestions. Anyways, Rufus, you asked before we leave about mixing a gradient on the palette and it kind of like falling apart. It did not fall apart at all, the air paints. So yeah, that's a positive. Not as bad as it was previously. Jimmy the Brush is a gangster name. It definitely is a gangster name.
Yeah, Jimmy the Brush, see?
Wasn't you who asked? Okay, my bad.
Well, you get the credit anyway. Congratulations.
All right, y'all. Ready to rock?
I think so. I'm gonna get us all blessed by Sigmar one more time.
Okay, give us one more blessing. Yeah, there it is. I got a starfruit tree. Starfruit is one of my favorite fruits.
This is not canon. This is what Sigmar is.
Yeah. No, this is. I think this is actually. This could be possibly the greatest command you've made, behind the Dan Rock command.
I'm always trying to exceed expectations and elevate the stream to higher heights than ever before. And as it turns out, turning Sigmar into a meme generator is the way to go. It has a cooldown timer. Graysons, you can't spam the chat with blessings of Sigmar. In order for your prayers to be answered by this blessed meme generator, you have to wait a certain amount of time, and it is much longer than other commands to keep the magic alive.
Sigmar doesn't want to hear your cries all the time, okay?
Yeah.
Just like once every 30 minutes.
That is a Cobalt Keep display case. We've given away a few here on stream. We've gotten a lot of love from them.
You can notice they're tapered on the edges because you can stack them.
They do stack.
And Evan is a fucking animal and got super glue or
No, what that
white
is
paint.
There was milliput on the bottom of a couple of the bases to shore up the magnets. So yeah, I need to just basically spray paint it black again or something. Cause yeah, whoops. Oh well, no big deal. They're pretty good. We've given away quite a few of them. I do wish that they unsnapped a little bit easier. It's a little stressful taking off the lid.
They're a little tricky to get off. I think the key is to like
you put a little bit of pressure inwards, but I just don't like doing that because I don't want it to suddenly fly off and my minis to go flying across the room.
Yeah, you got
but they're nice. I like them. I'm gonna get a couple more. It's perfect for 500 point Sigmarines list because look, it's 9 minis in there.
Yeah, this is your army, bro.
That's my whole force.
I mean, I guess.
Don't worry. If you kill one unit, it comes back. The other one's not so much.
The Annihilators, but the Sequitors come back.
Sequitors will come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for hanging out for the stream. Thank you so much for the subscriptions and all the support you guys give the stream. We really appreciate that. It allows us to keep doing what we're doing here and having fun. And hopefully you guys having fun as well. Hit us up on Thursday, 7 to 10 p.m. CST for a gaming stream between me and the chair. The producer chair, Evan himself, Stormcast v Soulblight Gravelords. But otherwise, enjoy Jimmy the Brush. We'll catch you guys on Thursday. See you.